right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, March the 29th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai eating again. What's going on, Mr. Beer Samurai?
It's a Lego.
You're eating a Lego?
Mm-hmm. A Lego of my Eggo right now.
Oh, no, yeah, you're eating an Eggo. You're not eating a Lego. That would be crunchy.
Oh.
That'd be a little too crunchy.
Yeah, those hurt my feet.
It might hurt, yeah. So how are you on this fine evening? I'm back. We posted the audio from last week's show. It said Beer Samurai is on temporary assignment. He'll return next week. And then at the end of it, it said, we can't confirm or deny that Beer Samurai did not have a case of FOMO and did not dial in at the end of the show for his top threes.
I may have. We didn't have an audio blurb at the beginning of the show, did we, or did I miss it?
No, we didn't have one.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I was just checking.
You didn't miss anything.
Yes.
But in any event, so we're back here now, the two of us, and we need to do some housekeeping, as we normally do at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, first I really want to wish, any Vietnam vets watching, happy Vietnam Veterans Day, and then honor them and, all that they went through.
Absolutely.
Not just over there, but, on the return home and how awfully they were treated. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So we want to do that.
I mean, it's like, and I hate to bring it up, but, somebody that, I appreciate and you're close to in a lot of ways, Mr. Springsteen. Yep. One of his most famous songs is Born in the USA.
Yep.
And everybody uses that song as America, it's kind of a song. And nope, it's about how Vietnam veterans got treated when they came back.
Yeah, because he met the guy who wrote the book that the movie was based off of. Right. And it inspired him to play this really kind of sarcastic anthem. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. But absolutely. Something a little more germane to our podcast is it's National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day.
This is true.
It's germane to it because a lot of moms and pops own craft breweries.
This is true. A lot of mom and pops own craft breweries. Yeah. And some of them aren't even germane. Some of them are Italian. Some of them are Irish.
I see what you did there.
I see what I did there.
So.
In any event, yes, happy National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day. It's very important. Most of the craft breweries that we talk about are indeed those type of businesses. So,
and I will be drinking a couple of mom and pop brewery beers today.
As will I.
And we'll see if the guests will be drinking any mom and pop.
Although I do know that the second beer I'm having today is definitely literally a mom and pop. Moms and pops, actually, it's two families. Brewery.
The mamas and the papas?
Mamas and the papas, there you go. But the first one, I'm not quite sure if it's a mom and pop. It could just be a, someday dad brewery, but, kind of a thing.
I think my first one might just be a pop.
There you go.
The second one's a father and son, so.
Fair enough. Yes, it is. This is true. So, all right. Shall we bring on, without further ado, our illustrious guest for this evening?
Do we need a more ado?
I don't think we need any more ado.
We need a more ado.
I think he doesn't need any more ado than he already.
I think we're done with the ado.
He is his ado precedes him. So.
He's got a lot of do. And he has a new do.
He has a new do. And speaking of new do, here he is right here, Mr. Tom Mulvihill. Welcome to the show, Mr. Beer Whisperer.
Howdy do, buckaroos? How the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, preliminary beer drinker, Purveyor wisdom all around. Good guy.
There it is right there.
Yeah,
he read it just like I typed it for him. There.
Yeah, he's got the modulation down.
There, man. Have we opened our beers yet? I haven't opened. I was waiting on you guys.
Mine's open.
I need a beer after the last hour. I need a beer.
We'll let John go first because he's having some motor vehicle issues.
Yes, I'm going to get my beer, so you can talk for a second while.
It's rare that John drinks first. He likes to kind of hold out until everyone else has drank, and we've also we usually defer to the guest to go first, but Tom's no longer really so much a guest as he is just a.
I'm like the relative that wouldn't go away. Like how fish begin to stink after 3 days. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's kind of like the coronavirus.
Just keeps hanging around.
Just a new version.
I come back.
Just another version of them.
Exactly. So I'll explain that while you guys open your beers. I got right now. I'm drinking a Strong Rope Brewery, Back Road Odysseys.
Nice. Now let me see that. Let me see that label again.
Sure.
Because I'm wondering if that's Adirondack inspired because we know that his father's retired up there.
Yes. Yes.
Blue Mountain Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So they opened up a tap room up at Blue Mountain Lake, and I don't know what my favorite place in Blue Mountain Lake is, that tap room or the place that has a sign outside all the time that says pies today. Always makes you wonder, will they have pies tomorrow? Were there pies yesterday? It doesn't matter as long as there's pies today.
As long as there's pies today.
Live in the moment.
I mean,
there's always room for pie.
Yep.
Every day is a good day for pie.
Yep.
So, but in any
especially
event,
March 14th.
March 14th is a great day for pie. But in any event, and they're actually going to be on the show. They're booked. They're going to be a show on April 26th.
April 26th. So the first show after I get back.
First show after you get back. They'll be on the show. They're on. So 4 weeks from tonight, they'll be on the show. Strong Brew. They actually have 3 locations. The original location in Gowanus.
Yep.
Then they opened up the tap room up in upstate New York that Dave was just talking about.
Blue Mountain Lake. And then they just opened recently. Actually, last year they just opened in Red Hook location. Right there on the
right on the
harbor.
Water. Yep, right on the harbor. It's a beautiful location. Matt and I were just over there a few weeks ago.
Watching them brew some stuff.
Yeah, we're working a little bit with them. But they're going to be on the show, so they're going to tell us all about all 3 locations and what they're doing and the great beer they're brewing in there. But I'm going to take a sip of this beer. So
describe the beer. What is the beer?
It is a pale ale.
It is a pale ale.
It's one of their flagships.
Nice.
Their flagship pale. So 5.0. You know what? Why don't I put up the crawl since I take the time to put it up? There we go.
Type all this stuff in.
I know. I type it in and then I don't do it. It's 5.7% pale ale from Strong Row Brewery in Brooklyn, New York. There you go. Cheers.
There we go. Cheers. Tom, what are you drinking while John chugs that?
I've got one out of Bentonville, Arkansas, from Bentonville Brewing. It's their flagship IPA called Home Records, 7.5%. 80 IPA, and this thing is absolutely gorgeous, man.
What hop notes you get out of that?
Well, let me pick her up. Typically, I get a lot of orange. I even get floral orange blossom-like notes. But you got a lot of mix. I get a lot of orange. You're going to find some grapefruit, and you're going to find the usual tropical fruit suspects. But I personally get a lot of orange, a lot of tangerine notes.
Or nice.
Yeah. On that note, on this pale ale that I'm drinking right here, it's got a nice malt backbone, so it's going a little leaning towards the English style.
Nice.
Which is always nice for a good pale.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nice resiny, little earth, little bit of orange, not too citrusy, not too pithy.
Speaking of English style, the Beer Whisperers IPA has got that color.
Oh, yeah.
It is a little dark. It does look a little on camera than it does to me here, but yeah, it is darker than what most IPAs are these days, for sure. And
That's true.
I'm going to have later with you, assuming we go to 3 beers, but are going to be a little lighter in color. But this one, there's just something about this one I love.
Nice.
There you go. So, all right, Samurai.
What
light beer are you drinking right now?
Yeah, I'm going straight off the rails right from the get-go here. We're going with the New Jersey Beer Company. This is Cups of Peanut Butter and Chocolate, and I hope I'm not getting them in trouble showing this particular can. So they got a
Well, you wouldn't be getting in trouble. They got a cease and desist?
They got a cease and desist to stop using this.
Well, you had already purchased it, right?
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes, you had already purchased it.
Yes, I had purchased it.
So you're not going to get in trouble. I mean, only they can get in trouble.
No. They had. I think I purchased it after the cease and desist, but the cease and desist said they just had to stop and they could continue selling whatever they still had.
But they can't brew any more of it. They can't package any
more.
Well,
they can brew more of it.
They can't.
They've called it something else and they've changed the packaging.
Well, I don't see why they can't call it Cups of Peanut Butter and Chocolate.
Actually, they might still.
They just can't use those colors and that bottom thing on the logo and all
this
of that.
Thing that looks like something else
right.
that.
To be honest with you, I think the only thing that would be the key piece of issue there.
The thing that looks like
the thing that looks like that on the bottom. So if you just put, just make it like just a brown rectangle with those words in it.
I don't know the font and the colors.
Well, change the font.
Yeah,
change the font. I mean, people know what it is at this point. But anyway, why don't you pour the beer and drink it? So.
It's already poured.
Why don't you drink the beer?
That was magical, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can imagine that.
It's not magically delicious. That's something else entirely.
That's something. That's another brewery.
That's something. And we're wondering how they have not gotten a cease and desist on anything they do.
They love everybody, or everybody loves them. I don't know. Something like
this that. This is an Imperial Porter. As you can see on the crawl, it is coming in at 8%, and that's my light offering tonight.
There you go.
It's chocolate. It's peanut butter. When John and I both know, and I'm not ashamed to say it, when New Jersey Beer Company first came out, they were middling.
Yep.
But they changed brewers,
And right now they're putting out some fantastic stuff. And this is the closest brewery to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one block over and about maybe a mile and a half down.
Yeah, down, yeah.
But it's down the hill. So you do a lot of drinking, then you got to walk up the hill.
There's one block in North Bergen, and I forget the name of it, and you may know what I'm talking about. But there's one block in North Bergen that is straight out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
The hill is just, I mean, you think you're in Frisco.
That's the one that goes down to Walmart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm on it all the time. This is maybe, well, you got to get down. It's right off of 1 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
It's a block off 1 and 9. It's not too far from where you're talking.
Right. So anyway, there you go. And a note just to let everybody know. Yeah, I had a couple of mechanical issues, car wise. And dealing with waiting for a mechanic to call all day long, and he was supposed to call, early to mid-afternoon, and called right before we were supposed to start the podcast. So that's what delayed it tonight. So we apologize for that, or I apologize for that. But in any event, it's not like I could have told him, "Hey, I can't talk to you now. I have to do a craft beer podcast."
You could have.
Well, I could have, but that would have been stupid. So,
but at any rate,
anyway, so hang on. But yeah, so all right. Now that we all have our beers poured and we're drinking them away, and I'm almost finished with this one already. But let's chat about let's kick it off with something non-beer related, but time or current day related, and
because there's nobody here that is sick and tired of hearing this.
Oh my God!
Story.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So, Tom, what do you think of the slap heard around the world on Sunday night?
Okay, here's the thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with Will Smith hitting Chris Rock. I just think he hit him for the wrong reason, right? Yeah. So if you guys have known me long enough to know if you're gonna go too far, if you're gonna cross that line,
mm-hmm.
you gotta blow it up. You gotta obliterate it. All Chris Rock did was take his inner pinky toe and wave it over the line. Hey, we're too far. I mean, if you want to make fun of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, there are so many topics to go in. And he chose her hair. I mean, really? You candy-ass, whiny-ass comic? Chris Rock, here's what Chris Rock, if you're going to go over the line, go over the line. Chris Rock has been watching too much Flip Wilson, too much Nipsey Russell.
He needs to get back to Red Fox.
He's sentenced to watch Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, Bill Hicks. He should have nothing but until he fucking gets it.
Right.
You left off Red Fox.
Yeah.
Red Fox, yes. I'm sorry. I had Red Fox. Right, I lost it. Red Fox. His Red Fox stand-up was genius, man.
Oh, he was absolutely genius.
He was filthy.
But the other thing I've got to say about that thing is I made a comment on my page, and I had to walk it back a little bit. I said, if that wasn't staged, Will Smith hits like a girl, and that was offensive to women because I've seen women that can throw a better ass bitch slap. And I think we need to coin the phrase Will Smith bitch slap. I mean, really. If that's the best you can do, Will, did you learn nothing from your training filming Ali? Seriously, now.
Well, I actually saw a meme that said, because it was just an open-handed, like you said, bitch slap, the meme actually said, at least we now know why Will Smith did not get nominated for Ali.
Oh, Bruce. I mean, in all honesty, for me, with all that joking aside, it's really nothing more than social media fodder. I mean, if Will Smith had to yell back, everybody would have thought it was a joke because it didn't look like a real slap. When you saw Will Smith walking back, he had a smirk on his face. I mean, it looked like it was staged. Had he not yelled back, everybody would have thought it was a skit.
Well, to your point, I think
my favorite comment that I saw is, had it not been for that slap, I wouldn't have even realized the Oscars were on.
On, right.
That's the other half of that.
Yeah,
You know what?
I really
It's-
don't care.
Any of these now, I'm not one of these guys that like for years watch the only award show that I religiously watched every year was the Grammys. Just I'm a musician. I want to see. I watched it every year. I haven't religiously watched the Grammys in I don't know how many years.
Yeah,
It's not the same. And all these other award shows, if there's nothing else on and I'm just sitting on the couch, I may flip it on for a little while. I always try to watch the beginning, and if it's going well, I'll watch the whole beginning, the whole intro, the whole opening. If it's not, it's off in a minute or two. Done. It's not. None of these award shows are what they were. And maybe I'm getting old. I don't know, but
you are getting old, but that may have nothing to do with it.
But I think it's both, right? They're not what they were, and I am getting old. So either way. So Dave, what do you think?
I don't care. I really don't care.
Fair enough. There you go.
And you saw the meme I sent you?
Yeah, the meme. I'll read it actually.
It's a picture, and the thing is, in honor of Vietnam Veterans Day, it is actually. It looks like a Vietnam soldier outside his tent, riding home, and John will read it to you.
I'm actually gonna hold on.
He's actually gonna try to put it up.
I'm gonna put it up really quick right now. Yeah,
so we can get it on the screen here, because this was one of my favorite ones, and really kind of punctuated the way I feel about what's going on. Because the day after, my Facebook feed was nothing but memes. And let's face it, memes are starting to become very, very derivative. It's like people wait for something to happen in the world. They've already got the meme up on the screen, be it and the people that love the Batman slapping Robin one were probably like, oh my God, because all these memes get recycled.
Right.
Just depends upon what is the current event of the day or the current distraction of the day.
Current distraction of the day, right. So here you go. Here's the meme. So you want to read it, or you want me to read it?
No, then I'll read it since that's.
You read it. I'll put it up. You read it. Here we go. There you go.
It says, my dearest Penelope, it is day 3 of the Will Smith memes, and I fear there will be no end to them.
There you go.
And we're actually at. Is it day 3? It is day 3.
It is day 3. If you count Sunday night, because they started within a couple hours. So.
Oh yeah, I mean it was instantly, man.
Mm-hmm. So I've seen all of them. I mean, there was the one. I mean, it's going around a lot. Is the actual cover of G.I. Jane 2 with Jada Pinkett on it?
See, to my way of thinking, that really wasn't even an insult.
According to Chris Rock, he did not know she had alopecia, and it's not. It is what it is. All right, and you're all right. Here's the thing, though. When comedians. Their job is to make jokes. Whether they're insulting to some people or not, their job is to create humor in whatever they see. Whether, especially when they're ad-libbing, right? But whether it was in bad taste or not, whether he knew she had alopecia or not, either way, aren't my whole thing is, aren't Hollywood celebrities, specifically Hollywood celebrities, supposed to have a little bit thicker skin than that?
No, they don't.
They did. They used to.
I mean, I posted on my page almost instantly is that a comedian going too far isn't new or new. And an actor having, thin skin is, hardly a revelation.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the other question. Anybody other than a Hollywood star do that in any situation? Is it acceptable?
You know what?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, for me, you guys know each other well, so I'm going to assume you have in jokes and pick on each other a way that other people might think is mean, where you two think it's fun.
Fair enough, and that goes for anybody that's like
but John and I have never slapped each other,
right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. That we're aware of, anyway. I mean, we might have at some point.
There's been some nights.
John like that, he go, oh man, what is that, a trickle?
Yeah, what the hell was that? Because that's what one of us would have said, if that were the case. But one thing I did see was somebody said that this is going to wind up. It's a social media frenzy. It's a blowout. It's actually. I mean, to quote a cliche, it's much ado about nothing.
And
Really.
that's what I said on my. I said it's much to do about nothing.
And unless Chris Rock actually filed a complaint with the LAPD,
and
it's
frankly,
much ado about nothing.
And frankly, that's my take on it. These are two guys who know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like if John and I got into an argument, one of us slapped the other one, or we called the cops on the other one.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna get pissed off at each other for a couple of days. We'll talk it out, and
everything will be fine. Yeah, we're just back to normal.
Have a drink now.
Right.
But then you got to talk about the message it sends to the country.
Well, that's the other thing here. That's the kind of key thing right here. But the other fact, but to lead into that, whatchamacallit, that everybody was saying that if it was, for instance, if it was Kanye West that did the punching, the hitting, right? It wasn't Will Smith, it was Kanye, right? Then there would have been an issue. Because he's the type of person, he's the type of personality that they're going to make, and maybe not necessarily a legal issue with the LAPD, mind you, but with the academy, with the
because he's not
as
well liked.
Because he's not as well liked and he's not as well adored as Will Smith is. So
there's the joke. Will laughed at the joke, and after the slap, you could see him walking back down with a smirk on his face. It looked like a joke.
Mm-hmm. It did, yeah, and that's the other thing too. And even before he got up to go up there and slap him, which, to be honest with you, even looking at it today, I don't know that he actually hit him. If he did, Chris Rock was moving, so he barely made contact. Maybe, I don't know.
It looked like if you show the whole thing in entirety, Chris was bracing before the slap, and when Will moved his hand, Chris's head was already going back. It looked like a film shot.
It looked like it, right? Exactly. It looked like it was a setup. But before Will Smith even got up, because the camera's on him, after he made the G.I. Jane joke, after he made that joke, Will Smith was still laughing in his seat.
That's a joke, yeah.
He was laughing in his seat.
And after the slap, he had a smirk on his face walking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Whatchamacallit. Really quick, Doug Smith just said, we did that, we would be arrested. 100%, Doug. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, any of us assault the royalty of the United States. Let's face it, our celebrities and our athletes are our royalty.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Of course.
And then Chuck Aaron.
If we had done it to each other, peers,
right,
there would be no arrest made.
Well, then because then it's up to us if there's going to be arrest or something. Yeah. But Chuck Aaron just said it was a joke until Will started cursing. That's when it got too real. Yeah, absolutely, Chuck. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And Tom just said it. Absolutely. Like if he had gone back to the seat and did nothing, no one would have. Everybody would have just assumed it was staged. Everybody would just assumed it was a setup. End of story. Move on with the show. Done. And for all we know, it might have been set up to that point. And then when he went back, because if you look at Jada Pinkett, right, she wasn't happy. Will was laughing. She was not. She was clearly unhappy. So maybe he got up and was like making a joke. Maybe it was kind of, a little satire on his part. I'm just spitballing. Who the hell knows? None of us are ever going to know, really, right?
And frankly, I think we've probably already spent 10 more minutes on it.
Way too much that it needed to be. Yeah, exactly. But I was just to finish it up, I was going to say, maybe when he went back, she was like giving him like the devil eye. And that's when he lost it and started screaming.
That's possible, too, because Will Smith's laughing, and then when the camera's on her, she didn't look necessarily upset, I don't think, but she rolled her eyes.
Right.
Like, oh, my God, really?
And if he had the affect that he had when he was screaming, when he went up to hit him, he would have hit him. He wouldn't have slapped him. And he wouldn't have had that smirk on his face when he was walking back either. That anger came after the slap, I think. Anyway.
That's
well, a lot of people think it was a promotional stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like Will Smith needs any more friggin' press.
Right. I went back, one more thing on this and I'll stop it. I went back, there was apparently there's history, right? So I watched one video, apparently when, several years ago when Chris Rock was actually hosting, the Grammys, like the host of the Oscars, pardon me. He was making jokes, whatever. It was back when apparently there were no black actors that were nominated for any main roles or supporting roles, and Will Smith boycotted him, Jada Pinkett boycotted him, Spike Lee boycotted him, whatever. But he made a joke like Jada Pinkett boycotted him. He says, and I get it. He goes, I get it. I understand what you're saying, completely with you. Obviously, he was hosting, so he's there. But he goes, but he said, I understand that it's bad. Oh, the other thing was that Will Smith was in Concussion, and he played a pretty good part in Concussion. That was a pretty good role. It was a pretty good movie. But he said he was upset that he wasn't nominated for Concussion. He says, and I get it. He played a good part. He did well, and it's a shame that he wasn't nominated for that role. He says it's also a shame that he got $20 million for Wild Wild West.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
That was the joke.
That is a shame.
No, that's still, Chris. What happened to you, man? You used to be funny. That's your podcast. Quit watching.
Frankly, he shouldn't have gotten any money for that. He got to be on set with Selma Hayek.
Yeah, this is true.
That should be enough right
That's not for free.
One last comment on it. Chuck Aaron just wrote in. He says he trained to be Ali. He knows how to punch. Absolutely, you're right. So yeah, and that's my point, Chuck. If he had that same anger that he had when he was sitting back in his seat yelling when he walked up to hit him, he would have punched him. That would have been
exactly right. Yeah.
He would not have slapped him, and he wouldn't have walked away with a grin, with a smirk on his face. He would have punched him, and he would have walked away seething. So that happened. That anger happened after he walked up there. It had to. That's my case anyway. But
I agree completely.
But
so apparently, archaeologists in Egypt.
Well, I was just going to say, in the immortal words of Mr. Mulvihill, I digress. So yeah, bring up your Egypt thing. I think it's time for that.
Yeah, I was going through, and there was like a lot of. I was reading an article about a lot of archaeological finds that occurred in 2001 that, due to COVID and a whole bunch of other stuff, kind of got swept under the carpet. And the one that is, we're going to get back to that word again, germane to the podcast, is that they had found.
You said Egypt.
It happened in Egypt. Hey, what was the nationality of the guy who found Tutankhamun's tomb?
German.
It's German. Thank you. At any rate, so the I can't remember his name right now, but I remember he was German.
Indiana Jones.
He's not German. He's from the Midwest, and I named the dog Indiana. That's foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yes.
Even though none of us are probably going to use that.
I'm not going to use that one.
I'm not using that one either. But they had found a brewery that is apparently, what they say, it's on here, 5,000 years old.
Oh my God.
Vine Stefaner's going to be pissed.
Well, Vine Stefaner is still the oldest operating brewery.
Well, this is true.
But a lot of people some people believe that Egypt invented beer, that it was first brewed there. Most people now think it was like in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, the plains there, mm-hmm. where the grains were more readily available than they were in the desert of Egypt. Mm-hmm. But Egypt's got a whole
they had a multiplier from Kazakhstan into Egypt. So
yeah, they had to get it through the Suez Canal, and
and they brought it over on camelback, and they were good to go.
They had to dodge the Somali pirates,
right.
But at any rate, the whole myth of Hathor. We have a brewery in New Jersey that brews a beer called Hathor.
Yes,
it was a red ale because Hathor was an aspect of Sekhmet, I believe, and Ra had gotten pissed at the human race, wanted to slaughter a whole bunch of them, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm. Ra was the god of
the sun.
The sun, very good, very good.
And so he told Sekhmet to go down there, kill it, but Sekhmet went down in the Hathor aspect, started slaughtering everybody. But you think it would be Sekhmet. Sekhmet was the lion goddess, and Hathor was the hippo goddess. But I think more hippos have killed humans recently than lions, so maybe that does make sense.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell everybody what brewery that was, by the way?
Why don't you? Because I can't remember their name right now. I know where they are, and there are other restaurants
in Philly.
No, not in Philly.
No, other restaurants. I mean, not Philly. Yeah, they have one in Philly, don't they?
Do they have one in Philly? You sure?
I thought so.
I think we're talking about two different places.
No, I think we're
talking
about
one in Berkeley.
The same.
I think was it Berkeley Heights.
Berkeley Heights. Yeah, I thought there was one in down.
Do they have one in Philly?
I thought so.
I thought you were talking about Triumph.
Was that
Triumph's in Philly?
No, I'm not talking about Triumph. I'm spitballing to think of the name too. That's why.
Yeah, so we're both stalling here to remember the name of this brew pub that I believe is close to Berkeley Heights. If it's not in Berkeley Heights,
I think it's in Berkeley Heights or was in Berkeley Heights.
Well, I've been waiting so long. I'm going to have to pop beer number 2.
You do that.
Well, you're drinking 12-ounce cans. That's the problem. So
I got a 12-ouncer coming up.
There you go. I don't.
So
I mean,
what you're
It's
doing.
called Trap Rock, John.
Trap Rock,
Called
yes.
Trap Rock.
Damn it.
And
I
Trap
thought
Rock
did they not in Philly, but around Philly. I thought it was near Philly. I thought they had another location.
No,
down
you're
there.
thinking of Rock Bottom.
Yes, I am.
You are.
Yes, I am. All right.
So Trap Rock only has the one location, but they've got the they're owned by the same people that do Tabor Road Tap House.
Tabor Road, yeah.
Tabor Road. So Hathor's on tap there, and Hathor's a red ale. And the reason it's a red ale is because Rod realized he had no control over Hathor, spills red ale all over the world. Hathor drinks it all up, falls asleep drunk, wakes up regretful, like most of us after we've drank a whole lot.
Well, that's a common occurrence.
But they think that this brewery, which could, what it was, I got to pull it back up because I forget numbers so easily. It could do 5,900 gallons of beer at a time. This is ancient Egypt.
Yeah, hold on one second. Actually, I want to.
You're going to put that in 2 barrels?
I just want to check that math for a minute. So 5,920,
5,900 gallons.
5,900 even.
Yep. We're going to see what
So
size.
190 barrels at a clip.
190 barrels. That's a big brewery.
Holy shit! Those are pretty big clay pots. I'll tell you that.
That is something else. And what it was ritualistic. It was put near where the burial of the pharaohs were. So obviously it must have been near the Valley of the Kings.
Right.
Though the article doesn't say.
Well, I'm sure that's what it was all brewed for, especially that much beer. It had to be by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to be that.
So it's ritualistic. And so most of it probably wasn't even drank. It was probably left in the tomb.
Left in them, yeah.
Barrels, yeah.
That's got to be really well and aged right now, you know?
Oh yeah, that's going to have some leather to it.
If it was left in casks for 5,000 years.
Clay pots.
Oh damn it.
Oh god. And if they find
the
one
clay,
of these,
it leached through the clay, and now you're not drinking that. So.
and,
Let it be fine.
There you go.
and you know what'll happen? They'll find one of those clay pots, give it to Sam Calagione, and we'll have a new historic beer.
That's it.
There we go.
There you go.
They already have an Egyptian one, don't they?
Yeah, Midas Touch.
No, Midas Touch is from.
It's from Egypt, isn't it? It's
from
one of the ancient ales.
It's from Turkey.
It's a Turkish ancient ale.
Yeah, it's from Turkey. It's from Troy. No, Crete. I'm sorry, it's from Crete. It's Crete.
I was going to say I thought Helen was from Troy.
Helen who? Helen Wheels?
Hunt.
Hunt.
She does a lot of stuff, though. I mean, really. Because she finds everything.
Does she brew?
She finds everything because if you lose something, you can go just go right to Helen Hunt for it. Yeah. It had to be a dad joke in there somewhere.
That's just really That's
Wait.
Anyway, all right. Tom, what are you drinking now? What's your second beer?
Hey, I'm going IPAs tonight, guys. I grabbed 3 IPAs. This one is Checkered Future from Ska Brewing. I hadn't bought anything from Ska in a while, and this one showed up at my local beer store about 2 weeks ago. So I picked it up.
Nice.
7%. I think the color is very, very light.
Mm-hmm. So we're and
a lot of
grapefruit. They're located
grapefruit
where?
Mostly. Just have those classic pine-like notes as well.
Nice.
Where's Ska Brewing located, Tom?
Colorado. Durango, I believe. Let me look at the can. I believe it's Durango, Colorado. Really? Can't read
I believe you're right. I believe it is Durango. Yeah, I believe Ska is in Durango. So, cool. How is it?
It is good. It's a perfect late spring, early summer beer. Very light, very refreshing, very clean.
So,
a lot of bright floral notes on the nose as well. It's just a nice, easy drinking IPA.
Right. That's good. It's always good to have a couple of those on hand.
Oh, yeah.
It's 7%, but I mean, it feels like a pounder. I mean, it's one you can just knock back on a hot day.
Nice. Very nice. And being a late spring, early summer beer, that means it was released in November, right? Right. All right.
Yeah, did you check the can?
Hold on to it for a while.
Right, exactly. So, all right. Let's, on that note, all right, let's talk about why I'm wearing this cap and Dave is wearing that shirt. One of my favorite Massachusetts brewery, and it's in Dave's top three Massachusetts breweries, is Night Shift Brewing. As you can tell, obviously the owl on my hat and his shirt. They are now in New Jersey. After all these years, they're finally in New Jersey. Now, I did get a little information. It landed last week, so it's actually available in stores as we speak. I believe it landed in stores yesterday. I did get a little inside information on what is available, and I'm going to go to it right now.
They do mention, Night Shift themselves mentioned that they have a beer that pairs well with pork roll.
They do.
Which beer is that then?
Oh, well, I mean, I would pair a Wake with pork roll, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would, actually.
You know?
I still have a can of that.
There you go. So it's coffee porter. It's coffee porter, folks.
So when I came in into the show last week, that's actually what I was drinking, was a can of Awake.
There you go. The three beers that they started out with in New Jersey are Santilli, which is a great solid IPA.
Lace and a pretty face and a ponytail.
That's Chantilly.
Oh, and that's isn't that a Source beer?
Chantilly, I believe so. Yeah,
so.
Santilli is the name of the road they're on in Everett, Massachusetts. They're on Chantilly Way, Chantilly like Turnpike, Chantilly something. They also launched with Whirlpool, which is delicious.
I think I had Whirlpool.
Yeah, you definitely had Whirlpool, and Nightlight, their light lager.
Which is easy drinker,
very easy drinker. So yeah, that's what they started with, those three. I'm sure others will get in. You know, you're not going to get all of the eclectic stuff that you're going to find when you go up to the tap room or anywhere up in and around Boston. But eventually some of that stuff will get down. But
you're right. Chantilly Highway.
Chantilly Highway. I knew it was like a Parkway Highway kind of thing. Yeah.
Isn't that a song by America?
Ventura Highway.
Oh,
yeah. And my favorite line. And I always stump everybody with it when I say, when you're playing that game of, say a lyric, figure out what song it's from. Not misheard lyrics, but figure out what song it's from. I always say, mine is Alligator Lizards in the Air.
Yeah, but I know that one.
Yeah, I know you know it. So it's from Ventura Highway, yeah. Alligator Lizards in the Air. What the
They were smoking stuff. They were putting stuff on their tongue.
I know.
In Southern California, they were in the desert. What do you think they were doing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
licking toads.
And it was the first occurrence of Purple Rain in a song that wasn't written by Prince. So, before it was written by Prince. So there you go. So yeah, there was a little pharmaceutical intervention in that songwriting. So
you think?
The best songs have pharmaceutical intervention.
This is true. This is very true. Anyway, so welcome to New Jersey Night Shift Brewing. I personally,
we applaud it.
Most everybody else, yes, very big applause. We are happy you're here and bring more stuff down than just those three. We love those three are great, and I'm actually probably going to head out tomorrow and pick up some Santilli and Whirlpool.
Yeah, and John is begging them to bring Barrington in.
Oh, please. It'll never get down here. That beer will never get down here. I don't even think they sell that beer outside of the tap room.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't even. It's not even in stores up in Boston, even in Everett for that matter. I think that's a brewery only thing. There, Lovejoy, wherever they have a tap room, it's the only one. And on that note, Idle Hands. I mean, you can't. If you're talking about and it's not even nostalgia because it's maybe only 10 years ago, but when Night Shift started, they started in the main location they're in Everett. They actually started on the other side of Revere Parkway in a smaller industrial area, and it was a tiny little place that they had, and right next door to them was Idle Hands. So it was Night Shift and Idle Hands were next to each other. When they moved out, not shortly thereafter, Idle Hands moved out, and they moved up to Malden. Now, Night Shift obviously has opened up Lovejoy and so forth and so on in other locations. But and the Bruin in Lovejoy too. But that's Lovejoy Wharf. That's in Boston. It's right next to the 93 bridge there. Gorgeous bridge. And right next to TD Bank Arena as well. But in any event, Idle Hands is open. And I forget the location of it, but Idle Hands is opening up another location as well. Yeah.
The Lovejoy one, that's near Tips and Taps.
The Tip Tap Room.
Tip Tap Room.
Tip Tap Room. It's right back down. You walk past 8th Ward and down to Tip Tap Room. It's right there.
Yeah, because I was going to go to that location after Tip Tap Room, but
spent too much time at Tip Tap Room, did you?
No. We could tell by all the people wearing Bruins jersey that there's a game going on, and I wasn't getting anywhere near that tap room.
Probably a smart idea.
Being a Rangers fan, I would probably, after drinking what I drank in the tip tap room, probably have popped off at some point.
That's probably
then would have been Will Smith at some point.
You would have been Will Smith, or you would have gotten Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Gotcha.
The verb, the past tense of the verb.
By a
Bruins fan.
Bruins
probably
fan.
A big burly one too. Would probably win the slap fight competition.
Gotcha.
Which is gaining traction after that particular event. It is fascinating to watch the slap fight competitions.
It is fascinating to watch. It really is. I think it's great.
Because those are not bitch slaps.
No, they're not.
They are slaps that will turn a burly man into a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, you see some of those things they launch off on.
I know. It's crazy.
So what other topics do we have?
Well, I just want to show you this before we finish talking about Night Shift and the Lovejoy location really quick. I just pulled this up really quick, so
This is a picture of you with the owner?
This is a picture of me drinking at night. No, I'm kidding. No. This is the view from that location at that bridge we just talked about. If you walked out, this is standing just off the front of the Lovejoy location, out on the wharf. This is the view. Let me just pull it up right here. There it is, right there. So, just that bridge, and to the left of this picture, if you're looking where you're looking, to the left is TD Bank Arena, and to the right is more of the wharf, and it goes down out towards the harbor. Excuse me, the harbor.
Harbor.
So
Wharf.
the wharf. So just wanted to say that. So, all right, cool. Night Shift. I think we wanted to talk about Stone a little bit, did we not?
Stone, we talked about them a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been some developments.
Mm-hmm.
John, that you mentioned to me earlier today that I had not known. So,
Tom, you heard the developments, right, with the lawsuit?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Yeah. Have you read anything today on it? Because I just read it the other day. I didn't read any more developments today because they're going after.
It was yesterday when I was reading an article on it when you brought it up that we would be talking about it. I didn't pay a lot of attention at all.
Gotcha. But yeah, so they obviously, we mentioned on a show a couple weeks ago.
Before you get to the lawsuit, back it up.
Yeah,
for anybody who wasn't listening 2 weeks ago.
Backing up, we had talked about the fact that they're $464 million not upside down, but they're getting called. Their investors are calling the investments, and they need $464 million. It's a lot of money. All right, and whatchamacallit. So while it's going on, and everybody's speculating, okay, they're going to sell. Who's going to buy them? Who has that much money to buy them? Obviously, we're talking about that. But now the new development is they had a lawsuit pending for a while now against Coors Miller. I'm sorry, Miller Coors. Miller Coors. And it was for the fact that they had Miller Coors brews Keystone Lager, Keystone Light, all the Keystone beers.
That's actually brewed?
Apparently.
I thought it was just pissed out.
I don't know.
Well, some people drink it, Let others drink what they want. Don't be a douche, right?
That's usually what I say, yes.
That's usually. Notice he put usually in there.
But when it comes to seltzers and macros.
Right, exactly. So anyway, point is they were packaging for a while. They've been packaging and calling Keystone Stone, like grab a stone, And they had a lawsuit filed against them.
That little apostrophe they put on there was the whole basis of their argument of their defense, right?
Of their defense, right? So the court found in favor of Stone, and Stone beat Miller Coors. So kudos to the little guy. I mean,
we don't often
calling Stone a little guy is kind of weird. They're the ninth biggest brewery in the country.
And not for nothing, we don't clap often on this show.
Yeah.
We've done it twice.
Twice tonight, yeah.
Tonight,
so in any event,
for the record, I don't have the clap.
I was going to say we might need some penicillin later.
So he's gotten a few shots after the Tijuana hookers.
Right, exactly. So anyway, so they won the lawsuit. Now it's a settlement, right? They got to figure out what the cash value is. And I heard 50 or 70 million or something like that. They're actually looking for 200 and something. I think I saw 251,
which would be about half of
which would be a little bit more than half of what they need, which may or may not float them for a while. So this might have come at a very opportune time for them. Might save them.
We can hope.
We can hope. So yeah, because if Stone and Stone's one of the OGs.
Well, second wave of OG.
Second wave. OG squared. OG 2.
Yeah, OG 2.0.
2.0. OG 2.0. Yeah, there you go. But they, go ahead, Tom. What?
If you can get $460+ million in the hole, can you call yourself a little guy?
No.
That's my question.
I agree. You can't.
If I'm 10 grand in the hole, I'm out of business.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit because I want to talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, because they probably don't qualify for that mom and pop.
No, they don't.
Business.
No, they certainly don't. But here's the thing: compared to most of the breweries that we discuss on this show, they don't compare. They're the big wigs, right?
Yeah.
But compared to AB InBev, compared to Miller Coors, compared to Heineken and S.A. Miller and all of the others, they are a little guy. Yeah. Even compared to them, they're a little guy. So
it goes back and forth.
They're actually closer. Ironically, they're actually closer in production to the little guys than they are to, AB InBev and Miller Coors and everything else.
They're like a AA ball team.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So when with them winning, even though they're so much bigger than any of the little guys, it's still a victory for the global little guy community.
Well, it goes in a lot of different directions. So on one hand, John and I like to shore up the little guys,
mm-hmm.
right? Night Shift is a little guy, not a little guy, but they're a little guy.
No, there's much littler guys than Night Shift.
They're much littler guys. Like one of my favorite breweries to talk about is Brews of Atticus.
Mm-hmm.
They're little.
They're little.
Yeah, they're teeny.
And they're in my top 5 of they're in my top 5 of Massachusetts.
Places you need to get to.
Places I need to get to. Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one that's come on our radar recently that we both love is Sunken Silo. That's little, right?
Wow. Yes, and they will be on the show on.
Might
as well foreshadow. They will be on the show June 7th.
June 7th.
June 7th.
But so we like to talk to these people. We like to hear what they've been through, what they go through. We love their beer. We root for them. But on the other hand, we also root for the big little guys because they're the ones that can take on the big boys.
Yep.
They're the ones that are grabbing that market share. You get all the little ones together in one big conglomeration, put them all together, and they're still probably not taking as much market share as the big ones, right? So it's another reason.
No, they're not.
Because, you've heard John and I and other people on the show defend Sam Adams as a craft brewery.
Right. Well, it is a craft brewery.
They are a craft brewery.
It's not a microbrewery.
And they are now, with the acquisition of Dogfish Head, are probably the biggest of the craft breweries. And probably take more share away from the big guys than probably any brewery nationally, because of how many taps they're on at restaurants throughout the country.
Yeah, I haven't read actual numbers, but they were number 3 behind. I'm pretty sure they were number 3 behind Yingling.
Yingling, that's an interesting one. Are they a craft brewery or are they not a craft?
Well, they don't brew with rice, right? So they're they brew corn, obviously, but they're not.
Yeah.
So they still the Brewers Association considers Yingling a craft brewery. Yeah. In fact, you know what? We're talking about it. I'm just going to pull it up. Let's just find out.
Let's find out.
Let's find this up. I'll pull it up. You keep talking.
Don't get me wrong. There's a place in my heart for Yingling because they are. You brought up Wyatt Stefano earlier. That is the world's oldest operating brewery. Mm-hmm. Yingling is the United States' oldest operating brewery.
And in And in 7 years, they will be 200 years old. They opened in 1829, so in 7 years they'll be 200 years old. So
now, if it's a pre-prohibition brewery, can it be a craft brewery?
Why not?
I guess
there was. Technically, there's plenty of craft beer back then. It just wasn't called craft beer.
No, it's just called beer. We didn't pigeonhole stuff. We just bought it and drank it.
Nothing but small breweries. There's just a lot of regional breweries back then.
Yeah. It was. We were closer to the way Europe brews.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's really, that's a function of the motor car, right? The invention of the motor car.
This is true. Top 50 brewing companies sales by volume for 2020. Here we go. Number 1 is Yuengling.
As craft brewers.
As top 50 craft brewing companies. Number 1 is Yuengling.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Sam Adams.
As expected.
Well, Boston Beer Company.
Yeah.
Number 3, you want to guess? Anybody?
Sierra
Nevada. Very good.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Tom, got a guess on this one?
No.
I'll give you a hint. It's not necessarily a brewery. It's a...
Oh, please don't. This is not a seltzery, is it?
No. Oh. No. I don't mean it by that. I just mean it's not necessarily a brewery. One brewery.
Oh.
So I'll just tell you. It's Duvel Morgat.
Oh, okay.
Because Duvel Morgat owns Firestone Walker, Boulevard, and Omegang. So they're under one umbrella. Firestone Walker, Boulevard, and Omegang are under one umbrella.
Oh, how about that?
So there you go. So
and you can't disqualify them for being a conglomeration without disqualifying Sam Adams now. Boston Beer Company.
Very true. And number 5 to round out the top 5 is Gambrinus, actually.
Really? But that's because they own
Berkeley and Shiner.
Shiner. I think Shiner's a big.
Shiner's
that's a big segment.
And whatchamacallit? 6, if you want to call it that, is Canarchy. Is 6.
Interesting.
So, and they have a lot of holdings.
Yes, they've got a big catalog.
Yeah. So, Bell's is number 7, and they're sold now. So, this is numbers from 2020. It's 2022. Their Bell's is sold now. So, I wonder where they fit in. 8 is Artisanal Brewing Ventures, which is Artisanal Brewing Ventures is Victory, Southern Tier, and 6 Point.
Those are some interesting bed partners.
Victory, Southern Tier, and 6 Point. Those are artisanal brewing ventures. 9, as talked about before, is Stone.
Okay.
And Deschutes is number 10.
Really? That's the surprise on the list.
Here, I'm going to bring one thing. I want to bring this to 12, and there's a reason for it, really quick. All right, I don't want to go through this whole list. It's 50 on here. I'm not doing that, but I just want to bring this to 12, and there's a reason for it. Okay, number 11 is Sweetwater. Okay, they're in a lot of territories.
Yeah.
They're in a lot of areas. There's a lot of production out of Sweetwater. Number 12 is a brewery that only distributes in their state. Period.
Only in their state.
Only in their state. There is not one drop of their beer that is distributed outside of their state. There is plenty of people that drive to the state to get the beer and bring it back to their state, but not one drop of it is distributed outside of their state. And they're number 12 on this list.
I know a brewery that's like that, but they don't have enough production.
And what would that be? Let's just see.
New Glarus.
That is what is number 12.
Are you kidding me? They're number 12.
Glarus is number 12.
That's making the same as David did. Yeah, wow.
Wow, Spotted Cow sells that much.
Apparently.
Oh, it's big, man. I ain't playing.
I got a strawberry rhubarb sour. I think just on that note for discovering that tonight, next week on the show, I'm going to have it.
Oh, man. My favorite of theirs is raspberry tart.
Raspberry's good. The raspberry's good. I got strawberry rhubarb. I have one strawberry rhubarb, and I think I have another one. I forget. I have another one, though. I don't have to look. But
anyway. Wisconsin Sherry?
There you go. I'll give some points. Brooklyn Brewery's number 14.
Yeah, I can see that.
Harpoon's 15.
15, but that's Clown Shoes as well thrown in there, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Stephen Point, 16. Trogs is 20.
That makes sense.
Great Lakes is 22.
Well, if you live in Cleveland, you've got to drink yourself.
You got to drink Great Lakes, of course. You know. Yeah, Edmund Fitzgerald is one of my
one of the best porters out there.
Great porter. Yeah. Three Floyds is 24.
Really?
Looking at Rheingeist is 25.
Interesting.
See if there's any. Allagash 29. Long Trail 31. Narragansett 32.
I would expect them to be higher, actually. A lot of people look at that.
Flying Dog 35, Surly 36, Rogues 37, Revolution 39, Modern Times 40, and they're closing locations.
Well, I'm opening beers.
There you are.
So,
And see if there's any others. Two Roads 44, Toppling Goliath 43, Two Roads 44.
Two Roads, do they count all their production, though?
Of course, it's all production.
Because they brew for so
many.
No.
I'm sure they don't include the contracts. They don't include the contracts. Shipyards 46, Lift Hand 47, Creature Comforts 48, Montauk 49, and New Holland rounds it out at 50.
So he said he wasn't going to read all 50, but he.
No, I didn't. I
35.
I literally no. I probably read about 18 there because I skipped over a lot. So, what's your next beer, Dave?
Well, we had them on the show months ago, and then during the show, I ordered some of their beer. So if you've been watching the show, you know I'm talking about Finkel and Garf.
There you go.
And I'm going with their Imperial Milk Stout.
Imperial Milk Stout. So you did 2 stouts tonight.
No, the first one was a porter.
Oh, it was a porter. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
2 dark beers.
2 dark beers.
And I'm drinking it out of one
2
of
stout porters tonight.
Yes. One of my favorite glasses.
Oh, yes. You love that thing.
Love this. The only thing is I got to glue.
I remember the first time you used that glass on the show. Do you remember what you drank?
It had to be something red or pink.
Vampire's Blood from...
that's right. Vampire's Blood from Smug.
Smug, yeah.
And I think it was the O positive.
That I couldn't tell you, but...
Vampire's Blood came in 4 versions.
Yeah.
There was like A, B, B, and O. And it was based off of how they poured it out because they realized that the beer was so dense that the first pours were lighter, and it just got darker and thicker as they went. So,
how about that?
So O was, I think, the thinnest, and AB was the thickest. So
there you go.
And I just recently threw out the.
Did they get a hematologist in to like check this as they were canning it, or I mean,
very possible. It's such a good beer. But I just recently threw out the bag of blood that they had because part of their marketing gimmick is that the syrup that they used to brew this, because it was a kettle sour,
sure,
which was really weird because it was blood, orange, and cherry.
Okay.
So I was really torn if I liked it or not. But part of the marketing is they sold these bags of blood that look like those bags that after you've given blood, they wrap up, put the rubber band around it with all the things and set it out. So it was a nice gimmick, and it drew me in. Then I never found a use for the thing. So eventually it's like, this is taking up room in my fridge. This needs to go.
You didn't even want to crack it and check it out?
Nah. No, because I was also moving for, the 3rd time in a year and a half.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Fourth time in a year and a half. So it's like, it was just, got to get rid of stuff.
So
you just spit on your beer?
No, I just blew a little piece of paper.
You blew chunks?
Blue chunks, yeah. So, all right, I'm going to open up mine. I was this past week. What?
Oh, I was going to say, if you're opening it, I can answer Doug's question.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to throw that up really quick. All right. Doug,
Doug
first of all, he jumped in with New Glarus when we were talking about it, so he was guessing that as well. But he said, Dave, will you stop at Stone when you travel through Richmond, Virginia? It's a great stop.
Unfortunately, I don't think so. It's not physically located where we're going to be. I actually picked a hotel that's really close to the answer so that we can stumble.
Well, that's always fun.
Yeah, get some dinner at Mekong, go around to the back to...
I mean, it's fun to watch Dave stumbling. That's what I meant. It's fun.
Well, you know the joke. Walking to the brewery takes about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Walking home from the brewery takes about 40 minutes.
Oh, sure.
The difference is staggering.
Mm-hmm. This is very true. So, anywho,
that's a wonderful dad joke right there.
That's
a drunken dad joke.
It's a drunken dad joke, absolutely. All right,
this beer.
So this beer, this past Saturday, took a ride out to Old Heights Brewing.
Oh, we love them. We had them on the show.
We had them on the show last year.
Wonderful musicians that they are.
Yeah. Alex, I was out there in December. Talked to Alex. I was out there with Matt and Jess. And this weekend I was out there. Brian was there, so we're talking to Brian. And I had a few beers, and one of them I've had it before. I had it last year when they did it, and I had it again there. It's such a good beer. I just had to get a 4-pack. So Here it is. I'm drinking their Brickyard. It's their Beer to Guard.
That's a great beer.
That is a great beer. So I'll throw it up really quick right here. Brickyard. It's an 8% Beer to Guard from Old Heights Brewing.
When we went, that may have been Carrie's favorite.
It was such a good. It's such a good beer.
It is a really good beer.
So biscuity, toasty, a little bit of caramel.
A little bit of that French yeast dust.
Little dusty. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So take the obligatory picture here.
And we say dust, we're talking mouthfeel, not flavor.
Right. Right. And we're not talking nose feel when we say it either. So.
We're not talking nose feel. Hey, Eric, if you're watching.
Southern California, that's all I'm going to say about that.
There you go. It never rains there.
But when it does,
oh, mama.
It pours.
There you go. All right.
Oh, it pours.
Cheers on that one.
Grr.
There you go.
Did I mention the reasons it's called Gurglass?
Beer here.
Oh,
When I first drank out of it, did I mention why this is called Gurglass?
so good. No, you did not.
My oldest son, when I first got this glass, was about 3. Mm-hmm. He was terrified of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because at one point I showed it to him, went grr, and he went running and screaming and looking for his mommy. And I'm sure as a 21-year-old in the United States Air Force, he's probably thrilled I'm telling this story.
There you go. There you go. So, Tom, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I'm listening. I'm pouring my third beer here.
Tell me
What are you pouring there?
I've got the Double Dale's American Double IPA at 9%.
Double Dale's. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Dale's off the blue.
Dale's is a great staple when it comes to a pale ale. It's on the list of the top 5 for me. Obviously, Sierra being number 1, but but American wise. So, how's that tasting?
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
You talking to me? I don't see anybody else here.
You're talking to me. You're talking to me.
You know,
Well, what I look like to you?
That particular line.
It's funny you bring that up.
It was all made up by Brando, because the script only said he talks to himself in the mirror,
mm-hmm.
and that's it. So Brando made up that whole dialogue.
The whole dialogue. That's great. You talking to me? So
I don't see anybody else here.
there you
You
go.
must be talking to me.
You must be talking to me. Yeah. And then bring it forward to Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. What, am I funny to you? Am I
a clown?
Am I a clown? Am I funny like a clown? Do I amuse you? So anyway, how's that Double Dale's there, Tom?
You know, it's not bad, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan. It leaves this kind of chalky-like residue that I'm just not a fan of.
Really?
Some beers of this style will do this, and a lot of folks that like it or it doesn't bother them, but I find it really off-putting.
Really? So this is why Tom is on Honest Beer Reviews.
This is true. This is true. And anybody watching on the page, Honest Beer Reviews too, because we post the show there every week as well.
Let me say something about that group, if you don't mind. So the
Go
two
for it.
members of that group are Doug Smith, that comments frequently, and John Sterdumsky, the brew guru, which I know you guys had on your show. Those two are probably two of the most knowledgeable beer guys out there.
I owe John some beer, as a matter of fact. I promised him some beer. I have it.
Your beer, those two guys know what they're doing, man. Doug Smith protects his anonymity, or otherwise he'd be a great guest on your show as well.
His name is actually Jose.
Ortega.
Yeah, I'm not
Ortega, right?
But Doug Smith that comments here a lot. Yeah, he would be a great guest. But
Yes.
We may try to talk him into
Well,
it.
yeah, we can. You could just put like we'll put one of those
With the silhouettes over
silhouette over it, so
we
he's
can
just
mask his voice with the.
I've got a lot of some of my older on YouTube, my Beer Whisper live videos, where I have him as a guest, and it's just an icon. But the conversation with Doug is always amazing. So there's not a better beer guy out there.
Gotcha.
Speaking of,
he actually
comment on my trip.
Yeah, he did say, "Do not miss Bingo Lager Brewery in Richmond."
So Bingo's right down the road from The Answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. It's
so you can go down there, get your answer, and then go over to bingo.
It's 3 miles away, so it's not quite. Oh, also there's another brewery right near there. What the hell's the name of it? There's one more right along that strip. That strip's becoming quite the beer place, and I can't remember the name of it because it's just before you get to the area where Hardywood is in. But Hardywood's across the tracks. You got to wind your way to get around to it.
I heard some information about Hardywood too the other day, and you did as well. So, but go ahead, continue.
Go ahead and share that.
No.
Oh, you know what's 3 Notches is the one that's also
3 Notches. 3 Notches. Yeah,
very,
you know what? I
very
was going to say that too. I was going to say 3. I had 3. Yeah.
So you got bingo, 3 Notches. The answer. They're all in one strip. We will be Ubering the hell out of Richmond. But the problem is we've got to get up the next day.
And yes, the Vale's down there too. The Vale's down there too.
The Vale. Okay, so the Vale is on the list. The Vale's in a slightly different section.
It's a little over, a little away from
that's in that I think that's in the neighborhood that Hardywood's in and the rest of them.
Well, on that note of Hardywood, we were talking about, and you were in the group too. Hardywood actually recalled, or
I don't pay attention to that group as much as
some people do. They're now Hardywood. They do a gingerbread stout every year for the holidays.
Yes,
right?
they do.
So
actually, I've got one put away in the cellar.
I actually have 2 left from. I bought like 2 or 3 4-packs in 2020. I got like 2 left in 2020. I didn't get any last year, so I didn't obviously notice this problem.
See, I think that's the one I have.
Right, so you should open it up. What apparently it was infected. And
really?
And if you drank it fairly soon, like if you bought it in November, December, and you drank it by January, even early February, you were fine. But it took a while. But now it's starting to sour. So it's not vinegar by any means. Well, I don't know if you enjoy it, drink it.
Sour ginger.
Yeah, that's the problem. If it was just a sour stout, I would probably drink it down. But with the gingerbread, it's got to be weird. But yeah, well, Joe Granat, obviously, he's been on the show and part of that whole.
We had him on the show.
We had him on the show.
Why the fuck would we have him on the show?
Because he's the New Jersey sales manager for Neshaminy Creek.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But he was.
I guess he's an industry guy.
He's an industry guy. Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
We're just making fun of Joe.
He opened one beer. His buddy lives down by Hardywood, so he opened one beer, and it was soured. He's like, "This is weird," So he dumped it. He opened the other one. He had 2 cans left from whatever he bought.
Is this the regular version or the barrel aged?
It's the regular version, not the barrel.
Oh, I think I got the barrel aged.
All right, so he opened the other can, and he poured it, and it was sour as well. So he called his buddy up and he told him, something's wrong with it. Go. He says his buddies had 1 can left, so he opened it up, and sure enough, that was sour too. 2 days later, Hardywood announced that anybody has any 2021 batches left, from that 2021 batch, they can bring it back to the brewery, get new stuff this year, whatever, blah 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 blah. So, it was weird too. It wasn't like an instant, it wasn't like an instant like inoculation or whatever. It wasn't like soured right away. It took a while. If you bought the beer in November and you drank it by Christmas or a little after, it was fine.
That tells me it may have been a bottle cap issue.
It's a can.
Yeah.
Oh, then it's not a bottle cap issue. It's a lining issue.
I don't think it's a bottle cap issue. Unless they put bottle caps in a can.
Wait a second. But if you are Joe, was it Joe Granat or was it Gene Lynch who said Bob? No, it was you who said tomato between bottle and can.
I did.
You did.
I said tomato.
So
actually, I think I said potato. Actually,
potato. So by your own argument, a can could have a bottle cap.
6 of 1. This is true, right?
By your own argument. But back to Richmond.
Doug just said bingo is a must. Dave, trust me on this.
So what we might do is get an Uber to Hardywood, walk to Vale, then just walk up the road to the answer, and our hotel's probably like 3 doors down from there, and just stumble the whole thing.
And anybody listening to this podcast, you are better off now that you know exactly what Dave's going to do when he's in Richmond.
So you know where not to be. Because I won't make a scene. Because hey, I'm from fucking Jersey.
There you go. All right.
No, it's called pork roll.
It's called pork roll.
No, actually, with that Jersey accent, that's Taylor ham.
That's Taylor ham. Yeah, that's Taylor ham. So, I don't think there's many people in Cumberland County talking like that.
No, they're closer to a Southern accent than the freaking Jersey accent up here.
Exactly. You know what? I did want to know.
This thing's boozy as hell, by the way.
I can imagine. 10.5% is pretty. Should be pretty.
Yeah,
boozy.
but I think I don't know if it's gotten boozier because I remember the first time I drank it, it didn't. No, it was a booze bomb when I first drank it. That's
there
right.
you go.
Because I got two cans of it.
Yeah. Well, you order 2 cans at a time.
Yeah.
So I do want to bring up the fact that we originally wanted to do this show, have Tom and John Starodumsky on together because we want to have a show where we want to just we want to call it a throwback show. We want to just wax nostalgic about yesteryear.
We want to go Little River Band.
You're right. Right. Want to walk through the park and reminisce. Right. Exactly. So
Friday night.
Friday night, it was late. I was walking you home. We got down to the gate, and I was dreaming of the night. Would it turn out right?
You can't get me and John at the same time. Get John and Doug at the same time. You'll get the same atmosphere.
Well, we were.
Those guys talking together are amazing.
John and I were talking about maybe all 5 of us.
That would be interesting.
So, Doug, if you're interested, we may get all 5 of us on the show at the same time. So,
just a waxing nostalgic night about the yesteryear of craft beer.
What it used to be before the hipsters got their fingers into it.
Yep.
If you listen to the videos I did with Douglas Smith, I mean, when he tells a story, I mean, he brings you feel like you're right in that story. He's so animated, and even with an icon.
I think that'll be a great show. The 5 of us on the show, I think, will be a great show. If
we can talk Doug into it.
Yeah, we got to put that together. And that's the reason I brought this up. We won't foreshadow anything else on it. I don't want to, I mean, if we want to wax nostalgic a little bit tonight, because we did start with John when he was on the show several weeks ago.
But like I said towards the end of the show, we were just scratching the surface of something that is. I don't want to say it's gone. I don't want to say
it's not
aliens,
gone because we keep it. Yeah. There's a bunch of us that keep it going.
We keep it going, but it's so much has changed, and we're sitting there going. I know we're sitting here like curmudgeons going, get the fuck off my lawn.
Yeah, but you know what? We're not that. Get off my lawn, you kids. We're not doing that, okay? Because there's some things that
I don't have a lawn. Neither do you, really.
Well, I have a little one.
It's about this big.
Right. But which we going by the beach. That's my lawn.
And that's what she said.
Right. It's about this big, right? Exactly. Well, I did say this, so that's not bad. But in any event,
you're doing well.
There you go.
Jess is doing well.
Exactly. But in any event, whatchamacallit, there's several things that the kids are doing that are really good. Yes. And I'm not talking about older kids.
I'm not talking about the ones that are making the liquid.
No.
Because the ones that are making the liquid, they understand the history, they honor the history, and not only that, a lot of these, as we call them, kids, they're bringing back some of these styles. Now, granted,
I call them kids that because most of them are my kids'
30s
age.
or younger. Yeah,
my kids' ages, and they're exactly.
They're in their 30s or younger, so we can.
And they're friends with my kids, and they're going.
Yeah. But yes, most of these old styles being brought back by those who are in the industry that are more our age,
right?
But the younger generation is starting to embrace it.
Yep, fair enough.
And they're doing a great job.
And the proof in that pudding is, Tom, speak to Missouri when we're talking about this, because Dave and I have mentioned this a few times. What's the trend we see, around here anyway,
this.
And anywhere, honestly, it's anywhere from, and I can speak to anywhere from Pittsburgh up to Maine, right now, through Jersey and up to Maine. The trend right now with even with the younger 20-somethings doing the brewing or whatever, they're paying homage to the classic styles and everything else. The lagers that they're brewing now and everything that they're putting out. I mean, there's a lot of breweries out there. They're putting out Tomapi Pivos. They're putting out Schwartz beers. They're putting out alt beers. They're putting out old ales. They're putting out ESBs. And they're doing them so good. British Milds, dark milds. I had a dark mild in Lancaster.
You said it right. Good for you.
I said it right, and I will say it so that everybody else listening to the show knows where I'm talking about. Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Lancaster.
It's Lancaster. My God, this beer was so good, and that's from Old Town Brewery, and they will be on the show in May. So, But in any event,
and speaking of that, we got to try to find a way to get Human Robot on the show.
Yeah, we'll get them on the show. We'll get them definitely on the show. But Human Robot is just killing it too. But
maybe we need to do it from there, so we have the sandwiches.
We'll figure it out. But we could do both. We can go there, have the sandwiches and the beer, and then have them on the show as well. So, but in any event, my point is, Tom, I don't know what the scene is like. Near Springfield, near you, and everything else down in Missouri. But is it similar to that? Are there a lot of these older classic styles coming back and being done very well down there?
Because if we watch you, it's still very IPA heavy,
right? Because you are seeing a lot of seltzers everywhere.
Well, that's everywhere though. It's here too. Fair enough.
Because the margin on seltzers is huge.
We talk about Springfield Brewing Company a lot. And one thing I do like about them is that they are doing classic styles, classically. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. If they do a Dunkel, they do a Dunkel. They do a Dunkel. They're not trying to change a Dunkel. If they do a Schwarzbier, they do a Schwarzbier.
Exactly.
Does the same
They're
thing.
not adding banana and coconut to a Schwarzbier. They're doing a Schwarzbier, right?
Oh God!
Dunkel got a Schwarzbier. But they're not trying to reinvent the wheels. What I was getting, they're not. Okay, but we're going to do this, but we're going to add this. And that's what I like about Springfield Brewing Company is that they will do some out of the box stuff. But if you have a classic style on the menu, it is done exactly per style.
To style, right? That's awesome. That's awesome, and they should be applauded for that. And anybody that's doing this, and any of these brewers right now, especially all of them definitely, but especially, and I'll say this, especially the younger ones, brewing these beers, these lagers, these hybrid lagers. I mean, let's face it, all beers, old ales, the Kolsch's or whatever, they're all hybrids. They're like, they're ales brewed with lager yeast and then fermented with lager yeast and, whatever. But brewing them true to style and brewing them so damn well, they're kudos. My hat's off to you.
Yeah,
and it's rare that John takes his hat off.
And I have a lot of hats to take off. So a lot of hats. That's why I said my hat's off to you, not my hat off to you.
Well, there's no apostrophe in there.
No. It's plural.
As you notice, as we're seeing the comments here, Doug is not going to commit in writing to coming onto the show.
He would have said it already if he were. So we'll talk to him after the fact, and we'll see if we can
we'll see what we can do there.
So, but all right. So, do we want to? I mean, clearly we'll talk more afterwards because I do have a bottle of bourbon here that I do want to pour.
Oh, jeez. Here's the thing. Every time we have Tom on the show, because he's also the whiskey whisperer.
This is why I have a bottle of bourbon there.
At the beginning of the show.
Yes. Dave is blaming you, Tom.
No, I'm not blaming him. No, that's not where I'm going. I walked all over you, Tom. What did you say there?
I said it's my fault Dave gets shit-faced.
Right.
No. Well, it is. Sort of. That's
what Dave tells everybody.
I only blame myself.
But everybody that knows Dave knows it's not your fault. So.
Yeah, well,
the story because the first show we did together, I had a lot of whiskey. So I go into work and I've got this certain reputation at work. I'm always this real friendly, morning person. I come in, hi everybody. I talk to everybody. I'm on my computer for about 20 minutes. I got to check the email, see the orders, and I go down to my warehouse. I was so hammered. I was so, hungover. Morning. I was so hungover that morning. I had to take an extra 5 minutes in the shower just to try to get the haze off. I'm barely getting my ass to work. I've got to go up a flight of stairs, and I don't know how I got there. I shake it off. I go in the office. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I sit down at the computer, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. That's computer for 10 minutes, and I walked myself down to my warehouse, and I sat down. I put my head down, and I think that's when I sent Dave a text and said, today is not good.
No, I think it was the wording was, I have to admit, today hurts.
Today hurts, yeah.
Today hurts.
Please tell me that you mentioned to a couple of your coworkers that you blamed Dave for feeling the way you did.
You should.
No. I blame God. Thank God for everything.
That's fair. And also for that show, I had a running streak of over 40 years of never calling into work due to a hangover. That show broke that streak.
There you go.
I did not go into the work.
But that was almost a year and a half ago. So
it's almost a year and a half ago.
So we need to see if we can do it tonight. But
the point I was going
Here's what I was going through the whiskeys I have, and I've got the remnants of St. Patrick's Day. So I had a little bit of this left.
I saw a JMO label.
I got the Jameson Caskmate Stout dish.
Caskmate Stout, yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm going to pour an ounce and a half because I'm not going nuts over here, but there's enough whiskey to say I've had some whiskey with you guys.
But the point I was going to make at the top there that led into that whole
sorry about that.
The version there was that every time we've had Tom on the show since, we start off telling each other we're not going to drink liquor tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And every goddamn show,
anyway.
we drink it anyway.
Right.
And when I finish with this thing, which is almost a liquor.
Yeah, that might as well be. So anyway, before we get into some bourbon conversation before we wind up the show in a little while, why don't we do our top threes? Because we've been foreshadowing things and we've been interjecting movie quotes all night.
Before we start to slur.
Before we start to slur, let's get this done. Let's
before
do this
I fall asleep on my stool again.
Exactly. Because we got a pretty interesting top three for you tonight. It's not beer related, but like I said, we've been foreshadowing all night.
I've been pushing for like the last 3 or 4 shows that we haven't done a non-beer related one.
A non-beer related one.
And the non-beer related ones can be a lot of fun.
Sure.
And we've got a fun one tonight.
And we got a fun one tonight. Tonight's top 3 is going to be top 3 favorite movie quotes that we slip into conversations. Not necessarily the top 3 best movie quotes we think of all time, not necessarily, but the top 3 favorite movie quotes that we all slip into conversations from time to time. So we're going to kick it off with, of course, the Beer Whisperer. Please, Tom, kick us off, get us going.
And then tell you where the movie's from and let you guess, or?
Yeah, no, don't tell us. We'll try to guess.
All right. So I'm going to try to channel the actor and I'm not an impressionist by any means, but I'm going to try to channel the actor and the character. Here's the first one. You worry about your own game. Plenty there to keep you busy.
Say it again.
You worry about your own game. There's plenty there to keep you busy.
I'm lost on that one.
And I'll tell you how I work that into conversation. At work, someone might make a comment about my job. I say, don't worry about your own damn job. There's plenty there to keep you busy. Somebody says something about my beer. You worry about your own damn beer. There's plenty there to keep you busy.
So you paraphrase it.
I do. I paraphrase a little bit.
Are you Googling it, John?
I'm not. I'm just typing it because I take them every year because I put up an Instagram post of what the top 3s are. So I was just typing his movie quote, but I'm trying to think of it. It sounds familiar, not too familiar. It's not like it's on the tip of my tongue.
It's nothing.
It sounds familiar. It's not like foreign to me by any means. It sounds familiar, but I'm trying to place it and I just can't.
You're gonna get it when I say it, but it's Herb Brooks from the movie Miracle.
Oh, that's a great movie.
And it's Herb Brooks speaking to Mike Eruzione. You worry about your own game. There's plenty there to keep you busy.
Like that one.
Fair enough. Very nice.
That one was kind of serious, but the other 2 are more on the funny side.
Gotcha.
I'm a 56-year-old man, and I'm paraphrasing there because the line is slightly different. I'm a 56-year-old man with high cholesterol and high blood pressure, eating a bacon cheddar omelet with extra cheddar. Do I look like I'm afraid of death?
He's stumping the hell out of me tonight.
So the actual line is, I'm a 72-year-old man. I paraphrase that, but I'm a 56-year-old man with high cholesterol. Now, I tell you how I work that in the conversation. I kind of, again, paraphrase it. Somebody wants to make fun of what I'm eating.
All we got to do is watch your Facebook posts and how you eat, Tom. We know.
That's exactly it. I'm a 56-year-old man with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, double bacon cheeseburger with extra cheese. Do I look like I'm afraid of death? I'm drinking a double bourbon here. Do I look like I'm afraid? I got 4 fingers of bourbon. Do I look like I'm afraid of death? It's not one of his most popular movies. It's kind of a cult classic at this point. But I love the film. There's great one-liners, and it's funny. It's called The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Oh, man, it's outstanding. I watch it all the time.
The Last Stand? I don't think I've seen that movie either.
No. It's a great Good Guys Win movie.
It's like why I love doing things like this, because now, Miracle I've seen a million times. Yeah. I just couldn't place that line. But The Last Stand, I've never seen that movie. I'm going to watch it tonight.
You watch that tonight? I may watch that sometime in May.
There you go.
I'm way too busy.
You're busy.
is Arnold Schwarzenegger at his best. I'm telling you. All the Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners you want to hear.
Better than Paternity?
For you. And I'm going to try to channel the character as best as possible.
You got it.
Yeah, you did not get an Austrian accent into that last one, so that's on you.
That wasn't Schwarzenegger. That was a different character in the film.
I was going to say, there's no way Arnold Schwarzenegger was playing a 72-year-old man in that movie.
So that particular line is there's two guys sitting in a diner, and he's trying to save Arnold Schwarzenegger, tells him to move, and the guy says no, and he delivers that line. Then he looks at the guy next to him, and the guy says, "Don't look at me. I ordered the same thing." Then he looks at the owner of the joint. The owner says, "I just started cooking." And he said, "Well, just stay away from the windows." Okay. Now, the great part in this movie right here, and I'm going to give away a little bit, is right at that moment, it's breakfast. They're ordering breakfast. Both guys pick up a beer out of the bottle, and they take a while they're waiting on their omelets. That's why that scene is so great.
There you go. That's great. That's a good scene.
Anyway, that's my last one here. Let me pull it up on my Samsung notes. I'm a reasonable guy, but I just experienced some unreasonable things. So somebody, I don't care who, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, he stumped me 3 in a row right there, John.
You're going to hate yourself when I tell you who does this. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm a reasonable guy, but I just experienced some very unreasonable things. So somebody, I don't care who, tell me what the hell is going on. And I paraphrase slightly here.
Yeah, that one's more familiar to me than the other two.
It's totally familiar. That one is. Yeah. I'm totally getting that, but I can't place it.
Yeah,
I can't place it.
What if I said what Jack Burton always says? Would that give it away? Big Trouble in Little China.
I was going to say, I know the name of Big Trouble in Little China, yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China, yeah.
What can I say? My tastes run to the obscure, whether we're talking movies or music.
No, that one I almost had.
I'm a reasonable guy. I'll tell you how I worked that into conversation. Somebody says something about, you hear all politics or whatever going on in the bar, and somebody will say, "What do you think?" I said, "I'm a reasonable guy."
Yeah, you're
reasonable things.
You're not always reasonable.
From my point of view. But
from your point of view.
For the funny. Sometimes you got to go for the funny.
Yes.
This is true. All right, Dave, what are your 3? I'll do Doug. I'm going to get to yours as soon as we're done. I'll put your 3 up.
Yes, those are good ones.
But Doug, Dave, what are your 3s?
So, of course, because John and I never stick to 3 of anything, even though we call it the top 3s.
I've got like 8. So
yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I told Tom before the show, I've got so many quotes that I say on a very regular basis that I had to limit myself. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I limited myself to quotes that I've actually slipped into business meetings. And there's times that the only person who got it was my buddy Jason Shaw, who most people on the show have heard me refer to as Meathead. Mm-hmm. But like some of the ones that, one of my favorites, and this is not in the top 3, was, "Well, we're waiting."
Well, we're waiting. You got to do the head too.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't get that.
We're waiting.
So that's one, and Johnny knows where that's from.
Of course,
one of the greatest comedies ever.
Judge Smails.
Absolutely. $5 the Smails kid picks his nose. $10 he eats.
$10 he eats it.
One that I use a lot, and it's I use it enough that it's actually Carrie uses a lot now. Is I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Which of course is from Dumber and Dumber. But those aren't the ones. Now, one I have slipped into a meeting, but it's such an easy one that I'm not going to count it into the top 3. Is the
he said 4 so far, but he still hasn't gotten to the top 3.
This will be my 3rd one. Is because it's such an easy one because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I've got a bad feeling about this. Right? That's how many times has it been said in the franchise? About this. And the thing is, it's funny.
A line like that. But you know what? A line like that. Honestly, I've been saying it since 1977. So, yeah. It's common conversation now. I don't even think of it as a movie line anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But not only that, what's interesting about that line is in the original trilogy, it's said 3 times by 3 different characters, but it's said 3 different ways. Han Solo is the one who says, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Right.
Princess Leia, I have got a bad feeling about this. And Luke, I think, says, I have a bad feeling about this. So it's said 3 different ways, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get into my top 3 now. So number 3, so in the business meeting, the way I've worked it in is when they're asking who's going to take on this project. And if it's something I'm going to take on, I'll say, I'm your Huckleberry.
Tombstone.
That's and I love that line. I'm your Huckleberry. So I've slipped that into a meeting and confused the hell out of a lot of people. But again, Meathead fully understood that line.
Oh, that's brilliant.
There you go.
So, it even, in my opinion, it gets better because number 2 is they'll talk about something like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We work this up, and this is how we're going to go with this. And they'll go around the room to see who is behind it. And they're like, Dave, I love this plan. I'm excited to be part of it.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be part of it.
So Johnny knows where that one's from.
Of course. That's Ghostbusters.
That is Ghostbusters after the Cross the Streams.
Cross the Streams.
Egon, you said it's bad.
Crossing the Streams was bad.
And then, right, crossing the streams, of course. So, but number 1, and again, it's when they've put something forward. Maybe it's not the best idea, or maybe it's crazy. And it's it's probably my favorite movie quote ever. But they'll go around the room to see who is behind what they're talking about. And when they get to me, they'll be like, I'm strangely comfortable with it. Okay. And I just love that line because it is, first of all, it's Boondock Saints. And it follows, what's the Italian guy's name in it? I forgot the character's name, but because I think the character's name is the same as the actor's name, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And he doesn't show up in Boondock Saints 2, which is why Boondock Saints 2 sucks.
Yeah.
But it's after he says, let's kill him. We'll kill everybody. And then one of the brothers is the one who does not show up in Walking Dead, right. Says, I'm strangely comfortable with it. And they go on the killing spree. It's awesome.
And they go on a killing spree, exactly.
Yeah. So those are my top 3. I'm your Huckleberry. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm strangely comfortable with it.
There you go. 3 great lines. All right. All right. So me, I'm a little bit more eclectic. Anybody that knows me, Dave will tell you. It's not something that needs to be in the mainstream in a conversation, whether it's even at like anything that is work related or just in a conversation. If it fits, I'm saying it, and even if it barely fits, I'm saying it.
And in these occasions, I've known John long enough that when he does it, I know what he's doing, even though I may not be able to place the quote. It's like, all right, where's that from?
Right. Right. How it's that? There you go. But
because I know you're not clever enough to have come up with that in your own.
There you go. Well,
sometimes
I'm clever enough to use it in that particular point. So anyway, honorable mentions. I'm just going to throw them out there. Just globally, I'm just going to say this. My honorable mention tonight, I'm just going to name the movie because there's about 375,000 quotes from this movie.
Oh,
I don't need to
Lebowski?
say any of them. No, well, I mean, that would be there too. I'm talking Caddyshack.
Of course, Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. Yeah, anything,
What does this sign say?
Yeah.
No spitting. Not that sign, this sign.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? And the donut in a hole is Danish.
So, let's dance.
I feel like $100. I use that a lot. I do say that. I feel like $100.
Would you like to tie me up with your ties?
Would you like to tie me up with some of your ties? Tie? Yeah, right. Noonan, you can do it.
Noonan.
Anybody, I use that line a lot. Anybody that, if somebody's like, I got to do this. I go, Noonan, you can do it.
Well, and if you remember when we had Jesse from Interborough on the show, he said a lot of his beers are named after fuel trucks.
Yes.
And when I lived up in Rhode Island, I came across a fuel truck that said Noonan on it.
There you go.
And I said that to Jesse. He still hasn't named a beer Noonan.
He still hasn't named a beer Noonan. There you go. So, and I actually have a friend, Scott Noonan. Noonan. So there you go. And quick aside, you've seen the movie Caddyshack, obviously. Have you seen the movie Porky's? Of course you've seen the movie Porky's.
Of course I have.
Okay.
Chili
You
sucks.
know that D'Annunzio in Caddyshack, and I can't think of his name right now, it escapes me, but was the Jewish kid in Porky's.
Yeah.
Same actor.
Yep.
And you say it, I see it.
And the girl that played Danny Noonan's girlfriend, the waitress.
The Irish girl.
Right? The Irish girl. She was the cashier that went to the toga party in
Animal House.
Animal House.
She was.
So there you go. Anyway, and I'm pretty sure he went on to do other movies. The guy that was D'Annunzio on that, but the girl that played those two roles, those were the only two. Those were the only two movies she was ever in. She actually went to rehab after those movies and quit the movie business.
Probably Animal Shack did it more so than Caddyshack.
Animal Shack.
And
Caddy House.
And Caddy House.
Right, exactly. So anyway.
10.2%.
There you go. I got to write this time down because that's going to be an open. There you go. All right. Anyway, okay. So here are my top threes. And what I did was this. Okay, like I said, it can be eclectic. It's not like specifically in the mainstream. But it's three different movies, and I'm going to give you the line that there's two lines from each of these movies that are my top two lines, and I say them all the time. I'll give you the one first that I say less than the main one, and then I'll give you the main one. So there you go.
Okay.
All right. So the first one I say all the time, and Dave and I, we talked about this before, is where do these stairs go?
Yes.
They go up. All right.
My buddies and I use that when we're hiking.
Hiking.
Hey, where does this trail go?
Goes up. There you go.
Anytime we see a trail that goes up, that comes up.
And the main one that I use from this movie is, listen, you smell something?
Yes.
And that is from?
That'd be Ghostbusters.
That would be Ghostbusters. There you go. All right. Now.
Oh, nimble little minx.
You're a nimble little minx. Yeah. Exactly.
May have used that.
Ray's gone bye-bye, Egon.
I couldn't help it. It just popped in there.
Anyway, here we go. My number two, the one I used, second most, is stop rhyming now. I mean it. Anybody want a peanut?
Say it again.
Stop rhyming now. I mean it. Anybody want a peanut?
Yes.
Okay. And, of course, the one I use the most, and I do use this a lot, is have fun storming the castle.
Oh.
The first one was Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was Wallace Shawn and Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Replying, anybody want a peanut?
Right.
And that was with the screaming eels?
Yes.
Screaming eels.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Billy Crystal with Miss Kane standing right next to him, Carol Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Carol Kane?
Carol Kane. Yeah.
Carol Kane.
Liar! To Blave.
Blave.
Oh, nice MLT.
Mutton is nice.
Mutton,
and
lettuce,
lean.
and tomato. And the mutton is nice and lean. What a movie. I love that movie.
Obviously, Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. There you
We've
go.
thrown out enough there.
Right, exactly. And then the number one is the second one I use. The one I use the second most is, can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo.
I don't know that one.
And the line I use the most is, it's all ball bearings these days. Really?
Knowing your favorite movies, I'd have a guess.
Some other lines are.
But I may not have seen this movie.
I'll have the lobster thermidor, a steak sandwich, and a steak sandwich.
Is this you watch this movie?
All right, how about this? How about this? How about this?
Watch this movie on a yearly basis.
How about this?
Not on a particular day.
Can I get you anything? Yeah, I'll have the Beatles' White Album, and bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia. How about
Alfredo Garcia? Kind of gives it away.
How about Moon River using the whole fist, Doc? No.
I have a guess at it only because
Sugar Mr. Poon. What kind of a name is Poon? Comanche Indian. Hi, my name is John Cocktoaston.
Oh, damn it. I know this. Fletch.
Fletch. Yeah, there you go. Right.
I was going to say, knowing you.
I had to go through all these lines. It's
Fletch, either one of two movies. It was either Fletch or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, it's Fletch. Yeah. And another honorable mention, of course, would be, where's your hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
That's Planes, Trains, and Automobile right there.
I don't use that line that much in regular conversation, so I couldn't put that in this.
That would be disturbing if you could.
You're going the wrong way. How the hell do they know where we're going? But yeah, Fletch's. There's so many. Chevy Chase. There was so many one-liners.
That was his best movie, though. I mean,
Chevy Chase. That was his best. As good as he was in Caddyshack, and he really had a small part in Caddyshack when you think about it.
And you got to remember that scene between him and Bill Murray was completely. It was not scripted. It
was all ad-lib. The whole thing was ad-lib.
At the time, the two of them hated each other.
Yep.
So they threw them in a room together, told them, there's no script, just go off. So that whole point where Bill Murray's got that scythe and is waving it in Chevy Chase's face, I'm sure Chevy Chase was probably a little nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, you got, you're on Briar, right? Yeah, too. Yeah, you got a pool over there?
Yeah,
a pool, a pond. Pond would be good for you. Natural spring.
Unga
Balunga, yeah.
Unga Balunga. And he said to me that, no, there'll be no monetary compensation, but on your deathbed, you will achieve.
No, it was Gunga Lagunga. Gunga Galunga. Gunga.
You will achieve full enlightenment.
Total consciousness.
Total consciousness.
So
I got that going for me.
Which
is nice.
And there's one line from that there, and I actually forgot that I use. I didn't include it in here, but I use it literally almost every time I'm golfing. Right? And it's Cinderella story. Boy comes out of nowhere, about to win the Masters Championship. Looks like a miracle. It's in the hole. It's in the hole.
And every time you're at the ball washer, oh, Mrs. White. Oh, Mrs. White.
Bet you're lean and mean and not too far in between in the sheets, huh? Where you going, girls? I got a salami I got to hide. That was a great movie.
I smell vomit poontang.
I smell environment poontang.
The only
good environment poontang is dead environment poontang. So anyway, yeah, that was.
So we're on to whiskey here, and we see the whiskey whisperer is already through his halfway through the four fingers.
I only poured an ounce and a half.
You poured an ounce and a half.
Yes.
Let me throw up all right. What are you pouring? What did you pour there?
So I've got my whiskey fest taster. I've got I think I showed at the beginning of the show. I think I showed before.
You showed us before the show, yeah. Great Jones, rye. I got to get over there. I got to get.
So Great Jones. This is the first distillery in Manhattan since Prohibition, and they're on Great Jones and Broadway, I believe.
Well, Great Jones is 2 blocks long, so there's not much of Great Jones. You go to Great Jones, you'll find it. It's only 2 blocks long.
Yeah, take Great Jones to Broadway, make a right, and it's right there. Their rye.
Well, they're on Great Jones, right?
No, they're actually on Broadway.
They're on Broadway?
Yeah, they're not on the corner of Great Jones. I'm pretty certain they're on Broadway. They're not on the corner of Great Jones. They're like 2 buildings away from it.
Fair enough.
There's 2 buildings between them and Great Jones, but they are right there. So it's right, right off the NYU campus.
Yes.
Not too far from Washington.
It's all. I mean, every block down there has a building for NYU. So it's not. It's yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably about 3 blocks away from Washington Square Park. So you can go to Washington Square Park, get yourself a contact high, then walk over to Great Jones and get drunk.
I don't know why. I thought you were going to say a hot dog. I really don't know why. I don't know why I thought that was coming out of your mouth. I was like, where's he going with this?
Washington Square Park to get a hot dog.
No, I know.
Get there.
But no, I agree with you. But I don't know why. But I thought you were going to say that. I'm like,
you're more likely to get a Tibetan prayer flag than a hot dog in Washington Square Park.
This is true. Although there's a couple places not too far from there that you can get a good hot dog. But
yeah, and
not in Washington Square. Though.
And if you go about 3 blocks over, you can get a fantastic pint of beer because Blind Tiger is not too far from Washington Square Park. I think
not too far at all.
It's 3 or 4 blocks, right?
It's about 6. It's about 6. It's up a little bit. Yeah, you got to. Well, I mean,
it's maybe because I usually run to get there.
You got to go down to. I mean, it's only 2 blocks down to. 3. It's 2. No, it's 3 blocks down to. Bleecker, and then you got to go up 3 blocks.
Bleecker.
Yeah, Bleecker.
Go get yourself some Bleecker fluid.
There you go. While you do that, before I'm drinking this. I poured little down here. You know, it's near me. Asbury Park Distilling.
I've heard of them. They're right near the fest hall.
Yes, they are. They're right in the fest hall, basically.
It's bourbon whiskey, but it looks very light in color.
It's double. Well, that's because there's only a little left of it. That's why.
But then again, it's lighter than my rye.
There you go. Yeah, it's a double barrel bourbon whiskey. So. And what they do too is after they age the bourbon in these barrels, especially the double barrels, they'll take them and they'll age their gin in it.
Oh,
they have a bourbon barrel aged gin that they release, and they actually make an old fashioned with the bourbon barrel aged gin. That's amazing.
See, there's a story in Kansas City that does that as well. It's called their double barrel gin, or barrel gin. Tom's in Kansas City. Oh, it's amazing.
It's so good.
So John often says he is a Schwarzbier whore.
I am a Schwarzbier whore.
He may be a bigger gin whore than a Schwarzbier whore.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So if I bring a bottle of gin to your house, I'm likely to get lucky. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah. He'll. It's like his hand might be between 2 pillows.
Those aren't pillows. I knew that. I would be remiss if we did not mention Doug's comments too. He's got 3 lines that he uses all the time. I'll throw them up really quick.
These are nice lines.
These are pretty good lines. He says from Goodfellas. Now go home and get your fucking shine box. There you go. And of course, I said the line before. My actual favorite line from Goodfellas is, "Funny how? Funny I amuse you. I'm a clown." Yeah. So. There you go. It's the line. It's not my favorite line. It's the line I use more.
It's the best known line.
It's the best known line. So there you go. His second one is from Roadhouse. Right boot. Got it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
The training.
Oh yeah. And then of course, his number 3 or number 1, however you look at it, from Ghostbusters. That's a big Twinkie.
It's a big Twinkie.
That's a good one.
There's so many great lines from Ghostbusters. Yeah. Is this true? Yes. This man has no dick.
Until the grid was shut off by dickless here. Is this true?
Yes. This man has
cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. But and I like the it was actually from Ghostbusters 2, the mayor. What's his face?
Vito.
Margulies or whatever. But the mayor, he says, he's talking to the chief of police, and he says, and the chief of police doesn't believe him, and he says, I had a 45-minute conversation with Fiorello LaGuardia in my bedroom last night, and he's been dead for 80 years.
So what's in there? Oh, that's the bedroom. Nothing ever happens in there.
Oh, what a shame.
What a shame.
I find her interesting because she sleeps above her sheets. 4 feet above her sheets.
You could just go on and on. Oh, I find you so interesting.
There you go.
I collect molds and spores.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. So,
would you like some? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
Yes, have some. Would you like some? Yes, have some. Yes, have some. Anyway, that's good. Who does your taxes?
Moranis.
But I digress.
I digress. All right. So, all right. Enough of that. Let's go back to some beer.
Beer. We're drinking
whiskey. I meant libations. Let's look at that.
Libations.
There you go.
Things that'll make it hard to get up for work tomorrow.
This is true. So,
Alex.
What's that?
We're 2000, Alex. Things that make hard to go work. Come on.
That's a category I think all of us would do pretty damn well on.
I think so. I agree. I have to concur. So anyway, but no, this one's pretty good. This double barrel bourbon whiskey is pretty spot on.
But John, when you I work about 16 blocks away from Great Jones. So when you get into Great Jones, if it's a weekday, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I will meet you there. And you're gonna have to try their Coco Vaz. They've got this drink, dangerous as hell. It's like a boozy ass Mounds bar.
Nice. There's, you know what? I just want to check really quick. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh God, their Manhattan's so good.
I just have to check, really quick. Hold on, let me just.
What are you checking?
On Great Jones, there's a restaurant, or there was a restaurant on Great Jones. Hold on, I'm just pulling it up here. That
Mrs. Whisper.
Yeah, it is still there. Il Buco Elementary.
Buco Elementary.
Yeah, it's so it's basically around the corner from where you go?
Great
From the
Jones
Great Jones,
Distilling.
Great Jones Distilling. Yeah, thank you. Whatchamacallit? I know somebody that used to work there and went there a couple of times. The food's actually really good. They have really good Italian.
I was going to say
meats
that
there.
is a
Meats there, but here's the thing: they have great Italian meats. They have great Italian food there, but they also have great Italian beer there. Yeah.
So we're talking.
So we're talking
something more than Moretti.
No, yeah, no, more than already. You know what? I honestly, it's been so long. The last time I was there was when she worked there, and that was about 10 years ago. So I would have to literally go back and figure out what it was. But all I know is that there was probably we sat there 2 or 3 times we were there. We sat with the owner came over and talked with us, and we sat there and we opened a couple of bottles and probably had about 4 or 5 or 6 different beers over the course of those times that
Balladine in there and.
They were amazing. It was amazing. I'd have to go back and look at. Honestly, I'd have to go back and look at check-ins on the
because, as you know, in 2 weeks I'm going to be in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about a few things about that trip. That I will be stopping in Munich first, and we were going to do a live feed from when I was in Schneiderweiss.
But I'm not getting up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, but we came to our attention. It's going to be 6 in the morning. I will be having lunch and drinking Aventine.
And nobody's going to watch it at 6 in the morning either. So
no. So what we're going to do is I will go Facebook Live. No one will watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be on Beer Samurai page, but John will share it to the locker room page when he drags his ass out of bed at around 1 p.m.
You're funny, 1 p.m.
Well, actually, it'll be after 1 p.m. My time.
Of course.
Because
it might be, you know what? It might be 1 p.m. your time. I usually get up between 7 and 8. So
yeah, it's about 1 p.m. So we'll be posting that up there. That's really looking forward to that. And then when we're in Italy, I'm going to work on being able to do the show live from either one of the bars or maybe a brewery. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But why don't you tell everybody why that's an interesting thing, though? Because if you're in Italy, right?
Yep.
At 6:30 here when we start the show, what time is it in Italy?
6:30. We never start at 6:30.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying. At 6:30 when we start the show, what time is it in Italy?
So if we start the show at 7, it'll be midnight in Italy.
And why is it? And you're going to be in a brewery at midnight, Dave?
Yeah. So here's the whole thing about Italy. Even on a Tuesday, they're open till 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Breweries, not bars, not restaurants.
Breweries and bars.
But not just bars.
Like California.
What's that?
Sounds like California.
There you go.
So actually, more than likely, it'll be a bar because I'll be staying in Pordenone. Pordenone is close to the Aviano NATO base, and they have a lot of bars that cater towards the different NATO countries. So there is a German beer garden there. There is a Belgian beer store there. There is a place called the King's Arm, which is a British pub. So probably wind up doing it from one of those locations because I think at least from the King's Arm, I think I can really stagger back to the Airbnb from there. Mm-hmm. So I'll be reaching out to them first to see if maybe we can do it from there.
Nice. That'd be cool.
We'll see. So more information.
Well, we'll be basically, Dave will be live from Italy in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
3 weeks. The week before that, Matt will be filling in for Dave once again.
Because I will be
They will be in the air while we're doing the show.
Now, but that will be the day I will be in Munich,
Mm-hmm.
or as the Germans call it, München.
Munchen, yeah.
München.
Mhm.
Probably having some schnitzel, maybe a wurst or two.
I'd have some schnitzel and a wurst.
And,
What's the worst that could happen if you have a schnitzel?
You can schnitzel all over yourself.
There you go. So, but yeah, it should be interesting. So we're looking forward to that.
Probably more than anybody.
Oh well,
right
you're looking forward to it more than I am. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to the show just because it's going to be a cool show. Dave's looking
Yeah.
forward to it because he's going to be in friggin' Germany and Italy. So
Yeah. And the weird thing is, this is the first time that I have planned a trip that the number of wineries
exceeds the number of breweries.
far exceeds the number of
There
breweries.
you go.
It's going to be. I'm actually might lose weight because, as we know, wine does not have as many carbs as beer.
Mm-hmm.
But I might wind up getting drunker than I usually do.
Because wine gets you drunker faster than beer.
Yes, and it goes down so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I'm leaving that one alone.
There's those Tijuana hookers, Tom.
I'm leaving that one alone. I'm leaving that one completely alone. So, but yeah, there they are. So you know what? Let's actually ask this. What are your Tom? What are your plans for the rest of this week and this weekend? Beer wise. I don't need to know if you're going to the store and buying groceries or whatever.
Or getting a rectal exam.
Yeah. Sometimes for fun, I get a colonoscopy.
What the hell? Yeah, sure.
We're over 50. Sometimes,
What's a hernia exam between friends? I mean, come on. You know.
I want to see Dr. Jellyfinger every once in a while.
Yeah, because they say with your proctologist, you don't want a proctologist named Sten.
Actually, I haven't bought beer in about 2 weeks. I've been trying to clear out my beer fridge, so I would like to go up to Springfield Brewing Company because they have a version of the Green Ghost, which is their flagship IPA. That they have a new double dry hopped Green Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
You've drank the non-double dry hopped on the show.
The Green
Yes.
Ghost. I've had the Green Dragon. I've had the Green Goliath even, but now they've got a double dry hop Green Ghost. I'd like to go pick
Nice.
up back there.
Nice. That's very nice.
What I would like to do.
Cool.
And John, what do you got coming up?
I'll actually be. I got a family thing down in Waretown on Saturday.
Oh, there's some options coming out of Waretown.
But I will be stopping at a couple of, at least be going to Oyster Creek, which they've been on the show before. But if we leave early enough, we get down there early enough, or I'm not even sure the time it's starting. So
Are you finally going to make it to the Seed?
well, no, hold on, I'll get there. Whatchamacallit? If I leave early enough, but it depends on what time it's starting. Everything's starting. If there's enough time, I might stop at Backward Flag too. So
Okay.
it might be a little Backward Flag and Oyster Creek action. Will at least be Oyster Creek, so we'll be down there for that. Seed-wise, I got to tell you this. I'm actually attending next Wednesday. I'll be going to the liquor show in Atlantic City. I'm going to wait until the cop car goes by.
This one out there?
Yeah, that one out there, because he's actually stepping on me, and he's all the way in Union City. So
He's actually 3 blocks over.
that is a
And
loud
that's-
siren.
And that particular siren pattern means we're looking for Tom Mulvihill.
He's looking for Tom Mulvihill. There you go.
Flashbacks of
He's got a far way to drive. So Tom, you got time. You're good.
Born in the 14th, yeah.
But no, I'm going to liquor show next Wednesday.
You're going to lick who?
The liquor show in Atlantic City next Wednesday, and so we'll be stopping at the Seed on the way in.
About friggin' time.
About friggin' time. So
And they're black ale. The
Oh, yeah.
Schwartz beer.
yeah, they did a Schwartz beer. They just released a new one. They have an alt beer and ESB out too. So I'll be a very happy camper. Prior to going to a liquor show, so figure that one out. So
Pre-game the liquor show.
yeah, pregame the liquor show. But good thing is I'm staying there, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Very nice.
And yourself, Mr. Samurai?
We've so what's interesting is Carrie had actually thought there's only 1 week until we leave. There's 2 weeks, and I didn't correct her because before we leave, her family wants to fill it.
Apparently, there's a lot going on in Union City tonight.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's not someone ran a red light because they don't give a crap here. But so we'll see what time we have. I'm not really sure what we're doing this weekend. I do know I want to get down into Southwest Jersey at some point. We may save that till May.
Weren't you supposed to do that this past weekend?
We're thinking about it. We didn't get to it. We wound up going hiking on Sunday. Carrie took a fall.
Yeah, you didn't go anywhere near Chatham though, so that's where Matt and I were. So.
No, TFTI by the way.
You were invited, thank you.
Yeah, by Brian.
Well, he was there too.
Yes, I know he was.
Well, I was going to invite you after Brian invited you, so you need 2 invites to go somewhere?
Yes, I did. So at any rate, no, we didn't actually. I've actually been really cutting back on the drinking, so we'll see.
What?
Because I know Italy's just going to be insane.
I gotcha.
So it's going to be insane. So I've been kind of holding off on that a little bit.
Well, I mean,
but this weekend we're going to get out there. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I want to get to Southwest Jersey because we've not been to so many of the breweries down there.
Well, yeah, I know you want to get to Bonesaw.
Definitely get the Bonesaw.
Yeah, you just gotta let me know when you go down there too. I got to get over to the new Tonewood. I've been to Tonewood in
never
Oakland.
Been to Tonewood.
But the Tonewood, the original one in Oakland, I've been there a few times.
Well, you and I also both have to go to Human Robot together.
Yes, we do. But the one in the new Tonewood that just opened in Barrington, this place is huge. Got to get there. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a destination to get down, and we got to go down and see the guys and girls at Mechanical Brewing too. Go see Pint Size Leah and all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got a question, and I've been thinking about this.
Who's this geared towards?
This is geared towards Tom.
Oh, boy.
You're up, Tom.
Right. We now a while back, I don't know, maybe it's a couple months ago, a man who we shall not mention his first name on the show, but I will mention his second name, his last name actually, not his second name, only because just to let you know who we're talking about, and that would be Mr. Carton. Posted on Facebook about a beer they were releasing, and then you said, I have to get my ass to New Jersey in a comment. When? I commented under that, replying to you, yes, when. So that's my question for you.
When am I getting to New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, the honest answer is not this year, but I would love to get out there to see you guys. I mean, there's no way financially I can find a way to get there this year, but we can work on it.
I think that's a good. I think it's something to work on. And we're still putting together a couple of trips. So I mean, it could very well possibly be meeting up in Missouri before you come to New Jersey, and that's fine.
It's possible. And I know one thing that's on John's and my hit list is making it to far west Texas.
Yes, we got to get down there.
So I got to ask you guys a rather stupid question because I've never been out to that neck of the woods. So how far apart are you two?
About an hour and a half, if tops.
Well, here's the thing. As the crow flies, we're about 40 minutes away from each other.
Yes.
But New Jersey traffic, we're about an hour and a half away from each other.
Well, no, by the highways, we're an hour and a half.
We can try to meet in the same brew pub at some point.
Of course.
Here's the whole thing. It really depends upon the season. Right now, we're about an hour, 15 minutes away from each other. You get into the heat of the summer, especially a Saturday or a Sunday, and we're probably about 15 hours away from each other.
There's so many people driving down the Parkway and the Turnpike coming down here or whatever. But
the best time of year to get out to you two.
Best time of year would be not in the summer.
Yeah, so early May.
There's better beer like everywhere else. I mean, there's better beer available in all other parts of the year than June, July, and August. Yeah. Well, maybe not August because some of the fall beers are coming out in August. But you know what I'm saying.
Usually in the winter. So what's the best time of year to get out there?
I'm saying either early May or September.
Yeah, September, October, or April, May.
October. Yep. So early fall.
Early fall or late spring.
Yep.
Mid late spring.
Let's put it this way.
So May actually might be the best time.
Yeah, because it's either prior to Memorial Day or after Labor Day. Because the people from New York and Philadelphia do adhere to Labor Day, Memorial Day being summertime.
The beginning and end of summer.
Yeah.
So my wife's birthday is May 21st, and mine's the 24th. So we take some time off along those days. But that would be about the beginning of summertime for y'all.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true. So, yeah, I mean, but that's before Memorial Day, technically, because Memorial Day is always after the 21st or the 24th.
Memorial Day on the Jersey Shore is an absolute shit show.
Okay. So avoid that like the plague.
Pretty much.
And then Labor Day.
Because we've got to avoid the plague. But anyway.
Yeah, avoiding the plague has been difficult.
This is true.
Avoid the plague. They will run headfirst into it.
Right, exactly.
So, Tom, Doug is asking you to tell us about your beer crawl.
My beer crawl.
Oh, I got to put that up. Hold on 1 second.
Yep, throw that up there, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
John.
Absolutely. And also, your birthday is May 24th?
Yeah.
Isn't that Victoria Day in Canada?
Is it?
I believe so.
Is it?
Yeah. So, and more on that later, but we don't have to bore everybody with the reason I know that. So we'll talk about that afterwards. But Doug says, tell the guys about our beer crawl, Tom. There you go.
Oh, okay. I wasn't what he's talking about first, but
wrap up the show with this beer crawl. That'll be great.
Here's the thing. I was working for Saddlebach Brewing in Springdale, Arkansas, and Douglas Smith he wasn't in Springdale, but he was on some kind of business trip with his wife, I guess. But he went out of his way to visit me in Springdale at Saddlebach Brewing where I worked. So we had a couple at Saddlebach. Then I took him to a few other places in Northwest Arkansas. I took him to Ozarks Beer Company, which I believe was probably his favorite. I also took him to Province, which I liked at the time, but that day wasn't a great day for New Province, in my opinion. But anyway, it was great. It was just one of those great visits, man, because it was the first time we actually met in person. We met at the brewery that I worked at the time, and we went to Ozarks Beer Company, where I knew somebody that worked there who gave us free beer. So it's just one of those great, amazing things, man.
Nice. He just said he was in Oklahoma City. He said
Oklahoma.
And he drove in to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we had to drive a pretty good ways to get to me, and it was awesome.
That's a drive.
That's a drive for Oklahoma City back to Arkansas where you were. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, man. I was glad he was able to be there. It was just a great visit.
That's awesome. Gotta love that. Anytime, But I mean, hey, driving a distance to go to a couple of good breweries with a couple of good people. That's what it's all about, right?
Yep, that's stock and trade.
Exactly.
Well, see, I forgot to confess something here. Is that Doug was driving? We hit all these places. We had a lot of beer, but my wife was driving me. I wasn't driving. I was going to have her, but I wasn't driving.
Oh no, that's awesome. What's going on there?
Here comes. I hope we don't have another building burning. This is actually the fire department.
That's
now.
North Hudson. That's the North Hudson Fire Department.
Yeah, and actually, it was North Hudson. It's the red trucks with the black.
That's my favorite looking. That's my favorite look for a fire truck. It's the black cabs. The black cabs with the Chicago look.
Yeah, it's got a really sharp look to it. What's weird is they're going up the road towards their firehouse.
So maybe they're coming back from the call and they just want to get back really quick because some of them have to go to the bathroom.
They're also not that far from White Castle.
Fair enough. There you go. That's
they're right around the corner from White Castle. So maybe that's the White Castle siren.
There you go. Anyway, all right. Well, look, this was a great show. We got a lot of stuff covered. We laughed a lot. We talked a lot about some other things. Not even just about beer. But we talked about some bourbon too, but obviously the movie stuff, some entertainment stuff, and we got a lot of interesting beer information out there as well.
Yep.
So I'm very happy that this was a really good show. And Tom, thank you so much for coming on.
As always,
we really appreciate it. Like Dave said before, you're not really a guest anymore. Nope. You're kind of an extension of us.
Yeah, you're like the tertiary host.
You're like the sixth Beatle, that kind of thing. So, but at this point, anyway, we'll talk. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk obviously after I do this, and we'll sign off. But on that note, we'll wrap the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening.
Breath in this.
Well, now I have to because you
Now
stopped.
you did.
Yes, you screwed it up. Anyway,
You
all
can
right.
always start over.
No, I'm not gonna. What's that?
I digress.
I digress. But I digress.
I
Don't
made
forget-
him digress.
There you go. I digress. Don't forget to visit our website, www.loggerroom.com. It's LEGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, unless I have issues with my car.
Or his computer.
Or my computer. And for those
or time.
or Dave's running late or whatever.
I'm
But,
never running late.
sometimes
Once.
you do. You twice, maybe. Anyway,
Twice.
but for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple the Idiot Podcast.
The Idiot Podcast.
That's us, the Idiot Podcast.
Which we may need to
It's
change
pretty
the
much
name
true.
of this.
I think that's not a bad idea, actually. Welcome to the Idiot Podcast.
Here's a bunch of idiots talking about beer.
Exactly.
And we try to make it entertaining.
Exactly.
Do you know that today was the first time I read the splash screen and you were talking about craft beer and something about it being entertaining? I'm like, when the hell were we ever entertaining?
That's pretty funny. We're entertaining all the time to some people.
Our guests are.
To ourselves, anyway. But anyway, for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Tom, again, thanks for coming on the show. Thank you so much. As always, a great show. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we'll talk to you soon, folks. Have a good one. Cheers.
Yeah, well, maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
Maybe.
Well, next week.
Guest? We do have a guest.
I think so. Yeah, we got a guest.
We don't have a guest yet, do we?
No, we have a guest.
Oh, we have a guest.
Yeah, we got it.
And